Chapter 781. Book title, Zhang Must Save Her. By just when Sima Yue was worried, Yuan Xiaojie's voice came from above her head, giving her strength to calm down. We understand your situation. Although the god-devil body is a bit surprising, it's nothing much. You already know. Sima Yue said, You don't think that I'm an alien? What does that have to do with anything? Su Jin said, Although your identity is a bit scary, I'll accept it after thinking about it. You are still my disciple. Master. Sima Yue was touched. She didn't expect that her physique and identity would be discovered without any warning. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't worried and afraid. Humans hated the ghost race and the devil race. If they knew about her situation, it was inevitable that they would want to get rid of her quickly. She didn't expect their reaction to be so unexpected. However, your physique is a bit of a headache. Su Jin said, but we'll find a way. You should focus on recuperating. Okay. Sima Yue nodded. Let's go out. I'll go talk to those fellows outside about the situation first. Forget about the visit, you'll be fine in 2 days anyway. Su Jin said. He went to the courtyard. The people who had been waiting for him for 7 days all looked at him expectantly when he came out again. She's already woken up. You guys go back first. She'll go back in 2 days when she's better. Su Jin said and went back. Sima Yulin and the others relaxed and prepared to go back to rest. They hadn't cultivated or slept for the past few days. Once they heard that Yue had recovered, they relaxed and looked a little tired. Su Jin went to Yuan Xiaojie's office. The two of them were already waiting for him inside. Other than them, there was also Fan Lei and Mao Sanquan. I'm going to find a solution, he said to them as soon as he entered. You're going alone? Do you know where to go to find a solution? Mao Sanquan looked at Su Jin in astonishment. Was this guy stupid? Wasn't Mo Sha from there? Although so many years had passed, there would definitely be some clues that had been passed down. I want to look there. Su Jin said. You actually want to go there for her? Fan Lei said, Do you know what kind of place that is? Of course I know. Su Jin sat down on the chair and casually leaned back, returning to his usual self. Although the two of you are master and disciple, your relationship isn't that close. Is it worth it to go there for her? Although Mao Sanquan felt that it was necessary for the school to take care of the students, it wasn't like this. This was too dangerous. Old Go, what do you think? Fan Lei looked at Gulang. I'll go with you. Gulang didn't answer Fan Lei but looked at Su Jin instead. It can't be? Are you too crazy? Mao Sanquan shouted. Perhaps. Mao Sanquan said, Although I only took care of her for a short period of time, my feelings for her are not comparable to that of an ordinary student. Besides, she's very talented. We have to protect her. Even if she is, it's too dangerous for you to go there. Mao Sanquan was still somewhat disapproving. What is she? Fan Lei looked at them in confusion. What was there that he didn't know? Old Mao? She is the only person who has stepped into the pavilion of connecting heaven in so many years. Mao Sanquan said. Finished the stairway to heaven? How come I didn't know about this? Fan Lei shouted, Didn't those people directly send them to the inner court during the exam? Then why did Sima Yue stay in the outer court? Mao Sanquan snorted, Isn't it because of the outer court? On the day of the exam, Sima Yue didn't go to the pavilion of connecting heaven, so she wasn't sent over. Later on, she went to the pavilion of connecting heaven and finished the stairway to heaven. When we heard the news, you had already left with Little Tuesday. Fan Lei was so shocked by this news that he couldn't breathe. Then he pinched his thigh and said, There's actually someone who finished the stairway to heaven. This news is too shocking. She finished the stairway to heaven, but also has the body of a god and devil. She carries with her a fate and responsibility that we can't estimate. Gulang sighed. Then Fan Lei looked at Su Jin and Gulang, Are you really planning to go there? It doesn't matter if she finished the stairway to heaven or not. She's still my disciple. Su Jin said, For her, I have to try. Gulang nodded in agreement, If there's a chance, we have to try. Since you want to go, then go. Yuan Xiaojie said, When the ranking competition is over, I'll go too. When the time comes, we'll go together. You want to go too? Mao Sanquan and Fan Lei shouted at the same time. After looking at each other, they said in unison, No. Why not? Yuan Xiaojie didn't care about their protests and said, You've managed the school well these years. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, my ass. Mao Sanquan wanted to curse. He'd never seen someone who could throw away their responsibilities like this. Anyway, you can't go together. 1 principal, 3 vice principals and 4 stewards. The number of people in the academy had never exceeded that of the 2 principals. Have you ever considered my feelings? No, I want to take a vacation. Otherwise I'll throw away my responsibilities and leave too. Old Mao has been tired these years. But the things we need to do are urgent. How about this? Old Fan won't go out these few years and will stay to help you. It's decided. Yuan Shaojie said. Right, how's the arrangement for the ranking? Other than pushing back the date according to your request, there's no other problem. Mao Sanquan said. Those people are still stuffing people in here? If they can't find the eye of the earth, of course they'll continue. Mao Sanquan's eyes flashed with impatience, saying, I say, can't you clean it up? Those flies are always flying around. I'm tired of dealing with them. Little Seven hasn't finished evolving yet. When she's done you can clean it up. Yuan Shaojie said. Those powers didn't give up. Even though they knew there was no result, they still kept sending people. If the people they sent were useless, they sent their family members to the school. Did they really think there was hope just because they came? Old man, aren't you going to bring my disciple to participate in the competition? What, you're not going? Su Jin didn't care whether they fought or not. Anyway, it was never his turn to manage the school. I'll go there first and then rush back. If I can't make it back, Old Mao, you guys bring the students over. Yuan Shaojie said. What's so urgent that you have to rush over in such a short time? Gulang asked. I'm going to stop something. If I fail, I'm afraid the entire continent will tremble. From then on, there will be a reign of terror. Yuan Shaojie said faintly. Gentlemen's Alliance. Chapter 782. The following is provided for you, Chapter 782. One step too late, please enjoy. Sima Yue laid on the bed, her eyes filled with gratitude. They thought that she was injured and her divine sense was exhausted, so she couldn't hear their conversation, so they didn't try to avoid her. Who would have thought that she had heard their conversation clearly? She reckoned that for someone with her strength, with such a heavy injury, her divine sense would be too weak to hear their conversation. But her divine sense was several times stronger than the average person, so this injury wouldn't affect her at all. She sighed, thinking of Su Jin and Gulang's feelings towards her. She hadn't known them for long, but they were so kind to her. A teacher for a day, a father for life. She hadn't done it yet, but they had. Master, Teacher Gu, she wanted to find them and tell them not to run around for her. Amo Sha was by her side so she would have a way. But she couldn't move now, so she couldn't find them. Let's talk about it when they come over, she thought to herself. She wanted to rest for a while, but she fell asleep. When she woke up again, a whole day had passed. Because of the pills and her physique, most of her injuries had healed. She got out of bed and the courtyard was empty. Principal Yuan and the others were gone, and the barrier had disappeared. She walked around, and after confirming that no one was around, she left the courtyard and returned to Parting Garden. She wanted to find Su Jin and tell him not to run around for her, but she heard a surprising news when she went back. What did you say? Master already left. Sima Yue was shocked and grabbed Su Xiaoxiao's clothes. Su Xiaoxiao didn't expect Sima Yue to be so shocked and said, Master said he had something to do, so he left last night. Do you know where Master went? Su Xiaoxiao shook her head, saying, Master left with the principal and the others. He said he was going somewhere far away and won't be back for a while. Alright, Master also left his life tablet. Master left his life tablet. Sima Yue panicked, let go of Su Xiaoxiao and ran out. Little junior brother, you just came back, where are you going? Su Xiaoxiao shouted at her back. Unfortunately, she disappeared in a flash, leaving Su Xiaoxiao with dust on her butt. Sai, you ran so fast. I haven't asked you how you're doing. He shook his head and picked up a broom to start sweeping the yard. Sima Yue rushed to Mao Sanquan's office and pushed the door open without waiting for the announcement. Director Mao. She ran in and saw Mao Sanquan talking to a teacher. She then reacted and stood there awkwardly. You're awake? Mao Sanquan was surprised to see Sima Yue rushing in. Yes. Sima Yue lowered her head. Mao Sanquan said to the teacher beside him, the matter of the billboard ranking competition will be arranged according to what we discussed today. You can leave first. Yes, Director Mao. The teacher got up, cupped his hands towards Mao Sanquan and left. When he passed by Sima Yue bowed to him. You haven't recovered yet. Why are you in such a hurry? What's the matter? Mao Sanquan asked. Well, I want to ask if Master and the others have left? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Can you contact Master? No. You can't? Aren't you and Master always in contact? We can't send messages to the place where they went, Mao Sanquan said. Then Master, what should we do? Sima Yue was worried. Mao Sanquan looked at her anxious expression and said with certainty, You heard our conversation yesterday? Sima Yue was silent for a while and nodded. Yes. That's why I want to stop Master from going. It would be better if you woke up last night. Mao Sanquan said, Now that they have gone, we can't send messages. Is there no other way? There is no other way. Sima Yue was silent. You don't have to worry too much. Mao Sanquan saw the way she was. Although we can't send messages, they can still send messages if they want to. We have already agreed to let them send messages back on time. If they go missing, the sect will send people to look for them. Yes. Sima Yue was silent. Is there anything else? Mao Sanquan asked. No. You haven't fully recovered yet. Go back and rest. Mao Sanquan said. Yes. Sima Yue bowed and retreated. Right, the billboard ranking competition 3 months later. You guys should prepare early. Yes. Sima Yue came out of the office and sighed in her heart. She walked to Sima Yue's courtyard and bumped into them. Eldest brother, second brother, where are you guys going? Sima Yue and Sima Yoshi were surprised when they saw her. Fifth bro, are you alright? Fifth bro, why did you come out? Both of them said at the same time. I have something to deal with. My injury is no longer a problem. Sima Yue said with a smile. Where are you guys going? Didn't we accept a mission before? We're going to hand it in now. Sima Yue said, We thought that the flamingo egg was with you, so we only handed in the third one. Now that you're here, let's hand in the first mission. Sima Yue gave a thought and the flamingo egg appeared in front of them. I'm still a little uncomfortable, so I won't go with you. You can hand in the mission anytime. Since you're here, let's go in together. Sima Yue said. That's right. Let's go in. Sima Yoshi looked at her pale face and his eyes were full of heartache. Sima Yue went in. Sima Yue and Sima Yue were surprised and happy at the same time. Fifth bro, you're finally alright. When we heard from Blue Blade, we were scared to death. Sima Yue reached out and hugged her. Blue Blade told you? Sima Yue hugged him back and asked. That's right. Sima Yue let go of her. At that time, he came to look for us and said that you had been injured by the ghost clansman. Even Teacher Su was helpless, so he brought you back to look for the principal. We were scared out of our wits. What kind of person is this Teacher Su? Even he can't do anything about it. How serious was your situation back then? That's right, fourth brother was so scared that he was about to cry. Sima Yuming said with a smile. Aren't you the same? Sima Yulu retorted. At that time, I wonder whose fingers were pinched so hard that they bled. Fifth bro, what happened to you that day? Sima Yuran asked. Go and call them over, I'll tell you all about it. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the Special Action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. Chapter 783. The following is provided for you, 783. Please enjoy. Yu, what exactly happened to you that day? How did you get injured to the point where even Teacher Su couldn't heal you? Fatty Chu asked anxiously when he saw Sima Yu. Yu, how are you now? Wei Ziqi asked with concern. Sima Yu smiled at them and waved her hand saying, Come and sit down, I'll tell you later. Bei Gong Tang came to Yu's side and sat down saying, Your face is still very pale, why did you come out in just a day? It's no longer related. Sima Yu said. Yu, tell us what happened that day. Sima Yu said it very simply, it was nothing more than how she was injured by the ghost aura and how she was saved by Yuan Xiaojie and the others. That thing is still in your body? Sima Yulin frowned. If that was the case, wouldn't she be in danger at all times? That death aura can't threaten me now. It's because I just woke up that I don't have time. Wait until I'm healed, then I'll deal with it. You don't have to worry. Ghost aura belongs to another world, can you deal with it? Fatty Chu asked worriedly, Why don't you ask the principal or Teacher Su? The principal and my master are no longer in the sect. If I really can't do it, I'll find someone else to help. Sima Yu wasn't anxious. That death aura was very peaceful in her body now. Once she took precautions, it wouldn't be able to move the dark energy in her body. Thinking about the death aura that came out, she was very suspicious because she always thought that her body only had the dark attribute. She never knew that she had death aura. Before this, even Crimson Flame and Mo Sha didn't know. That was why she never dared to confirm whether her mother was from the Devil clan or the Ghost clan. But she didn't think that once the death aura entered her body, the death aura in her body would appear out of nowhere, and there was so much of it. Even the Spirit Pagoda pool that the Spirit Pagoda opened was filled by more than half. It wasn't any less than the Dark Pagoda pool. Maybe this is the power your mother left for you. Amosha guessed. Mother? Otherwise I can't think of another reason. Perhaps. In fact, she had also thought that her mother might have left the death aura in her body so that once the seal was broken, the power of darkness and light would be able to contend against each other. However, she probably didn't expect that her death chi would be completely unleashed by that black-robed ghost's attack, causing her to almost die. Yue, what are you thinking about? Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yue's dazed expression and asked. Sima Yue recovered from her thoughts. Seeing that everyone was looking at her, she said, Nothing. I was just thinking about the billboard. Billboard? How come I overheard Director Mao talking to a teacher about this in his office? With your strength, you should be able to easily get first place, right? Fatty Chu said with a grin. Has the time been set? Sima Yuran asked. Previously, for some reason, the timing of the billboard kept changing. It didn't seem like the style of the past at all. It's set. 3 months later. Sima Yue said, It just so happens that our mission has been completed. We can go in exchange for points. Yue, you won't be leaving during this period of time. Let's go to your Spirit Pagoda to cultivate. Little Spirit's place is much better than the Cultivation Pagoda. The spirit energy is much denser and the time is longer. Fatty Chu blinked his big eyes and looked at her. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. But I still have to exchange for points. I'll save it for when I'm not in the sect. Second bro and I will go first. Sima Yuming said. Okay. Sima Yue and the others chatted for a while before Sima Yuming and Sima Yuqi returned. Both of them had smiles on their faces. Why are you so happy? When we went to exchange for points just now, that teacher said that we took 20 flamingo eggs and gave us 2 missions. To find out the reason for the strange things in Bright Red Mountain Peak, the leader said that this matter was important and gave us 3 times the reward. 3 times? Sima Yulu jumped up. Isn't that 32,000 points? That's right. Including the flamingo eggs, we earned a total of 32,000 this time. That's right. After dividing it, each of us can get 2,900. Wow, that's enough for us to cultivate in the Cultivation Pagoda for 8 years. 1 mission in exchange for 8 years of time, this is too worth it. That's because of fifth bro. If it weren't for him, not to mention completing the mission, we wouldn't even be able to keep our lives. Sima Yuming said. Eldest bro is still saying this to me. Be careful or I'll get angry. Sima Yue said with a smile, my share won't be divided. I won't go to the Cultivation Pagoda either. It'll be a waste. In addition, Little 7 doesn't need to be divided. Fifth bro, you have the Cultivation Pagoda. It's okay if you don't divide the points. But Little 7 went with us. It's not good if you don't divide it. Sima Yuming said. Little 7 won't go to the Cultivation Pagoda to cultivate either. Sima Yue thought of Little 7 in the Spirit Pagoda and was a little worried. It's okay. You don't have to count it in. You can divide it. They also knew that Little 7 was not human. Since Yu said that they didn't need it, then they didn't need it. Then there are 9 of us. If we divide it equally, each of us will get 3,500. Sima Yulu was overjoyed. 3,550 cultivation points. That was almost 10 years worth of time. They could cultivate in the Cultivation Pagoda for 10 years. Big bro Yuming, you don't have to give us so much. Just give us 1,000 each. Wei Ziqi said. How can we do that? Big bro Yuming, we are all professional masters. It's easier for us to accept missions. We can complete them during our usual practice. On the contrary, if you want to accept missions, you will waste a lot of time. If you have more, you can cultivate for a longer time. Wei Ziqi explained. They didn't lack cultivation points, so it didn't matter if they got fewer points. Big bro, let's divide it according to what Ziqi said. Sima Yue said. In the end, Sima Yulin and Wei Ziqi's group of 5 got 5,000 points. Sima Yuming and his brothers got the remaining 27,000 points. Each of them got 6,750 points. 6,000 points. We can cultivate in the Cultivation Pagoda for 18 years. It's too fantastical. Sima Yulu held his token. His eyes were about to disappear from his smile. Sima Yuming and the others were also very happy. It was already good to get an unexpected reward. They didn't expect to get so many cultivation points. This time they didn't have to go out to accept missions for a long time. 18 years was enough for them to advance in rank. At this moment, a clear and familiar voice came from outside. I heard your laughter at the door. You've been gone for so long. You're finally back. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against internet obscenity and pornographic information. Thank you everyone. Chapter 784. The following is provided for you, 784. Please enjoy. Sima Yuming and the others stood up to welcome them. Just as they reached the entrance of the hall, they saw Shui Rong and Ma Bojian walking in from outside. Seeing the smiles on their faces, Shui Rong teased, "You've gotten so many cultivation points. You must be overjoyed, right? You know about it too?" Sima Yuming said with some surprise. "We're not the only ones who know. I'm afraid that all the other teams know about it. Your Thunder team has completed 2 missions and obtained 32,000 cultivation points. The other teams are probably dying of envy. How did it spread so quickly?" Sima Yuming was stunned. It's only natural that such explosive news spread quickly. You've obtained so many cultivation points in one go. It's something that has never happened before. Furthermore, you're a newly established team with few members. When everyone thinks about the cultivation points you'll get, they all go crazy. There are already many people who want to join your team. Shui Rong said with a smile. She followed Sima Yuming in and subconsciously glanced at Sima Yuyu. Seeing her pale face, she said with concern, "Yuyu, why do you look so pale? Are you hurt?" Sima Yuyu saw that Shui Rong's shock and concern were not fake. She guessed that the sect did not spread the news that she had been hurt by the ghost realm. She smiled, saying, I got hurt when I was on a mission. It's no big deal now. I just need to rest for a while." It's normal to get hurt when you're on a mission. As long as you don't hurt your foundation, you'll be fine. Shui Rong had seen many injured people. They were often injured when they were on missions, so she did not pay much attention to her injuries. "Are you here for something?" Sima Yuming asked. "Actually, it's nothing much. We heard that you're back, so we came to see you." Shui Rong glanced at Sima Yuyu with a troubled expression. "Why are you looking for me?" Sima Yue asked. "This." Shui Rong and Ma Bojian looked at each other. Yue was a little confused. In the end, Ma Bojian said, "It's like this. We went on a mission recently. During the mission, one of our team members was injured. We heard that Yue studied medicine in the outer court. You have excellent medical skills, so we wanted to ask you to take a look at him. But I didn't expect you to be injured too. If a student is injured, can't they look for a teacher?" Sima Yuran reminded them. "Why don't we know about this?" However, after the teachers in the academy checked her condition, they said that they couldn't find the reason and that there was nothing they could do. They said that they would report it. Shui Rong said, "We wanted to go to the outer court to look for Teacher Gu, but we heard that Teacher Gu left last night. Therefore, he wanted to invite Yue to take a look when the school arranged for a teacher to come over. After all, she is someone who Teacher Gu praised for her outstanding medical skills. But Yue is injured. We have to think of another way," Ma Bojian said. "Who's injured?" "It's Yuan. Shui Rong said. "Shu Yuan? Sima Yue thought of that girl with clean eyes. When they were in the maze forest, she was still very protective of her. How is her condition?" "Her body is still considered normal, but she's been unconscious." Shui Rong said, "The teacher who came to take a look said that she won't be in any danger for the time being, but we still don't feel at ease. Since it's her, then I'll go over and take a look." Sima Yue said. "But you're also..." Shui Rong looked at her worriedly. "My condition is still all right. It's just that my body is a little weak. I'll go take a look at her condition first. If it's not serious, then we'll talk again in 2 days." Sima Yue said. Shui Rong smiled at her apologetically and said gratefully, "Then I'll have to trouble you. Then let's go over." Sima Yue said, "Right, the billboard ranking is about to start. The billboard ranking is part of the 3 great meetings. Fatty Chu and you guys have to prepare well." Fatty Chu and the rest nodded. When she said to prepare, she meant for them to prepare the things they needed for their training. When she recovered, they would go into closed-door cultivation in the Spirit Pagoda. Hence they had to prepare well. Sima Yue thought about how she had heard about the 3 great meetings before she entered the inner sect. Now it was finally here. Shui Rong brought Sima Yue to their dormitory. The moment they entered, they saw many people standing in the courtyard. "Shui Rong, is she the person you were talking about?" A little guy looked at Sima Yu's sickly appearance and was a little suspicious as to whether or not she really knew medicine. I was still wondering who you guys would look for. So you guys went to look for Yue. But Yue, why do you look so pale? Someone who had seen Sima Yue in the maze forest greeted her. I got injured during a mission. Sima Yue said, I'll go take a look at Su Yuan. I'll bring you in. Shui Rong said. After they left, the small person thought about how they had addressed her. He blinked and asked, Yue? Sima Yue? She's Sima Yue? You just found out that it's her? No way, you're so ignorant. Didn't I go into closed-door cultivation for a period of time? After I came out, I heard of her name, but I've never seen her in person. I thought it would be a tall and strong man. Who would have thought that it would be such a small man? The small person said. How is she small? She's about the same size as you. Someone poked him and laughed at the small person. Sima Yue entered the house and went to Su Yuan's bedroom. She saw her lying on the bed peacefully. The corners of her mouth were slightly raised as if she was smiling. Yue, she has had this expression since she fainted. It's as if she had a beautiful dream. Shui Rong said, at the beginning, we all thought that she was asleep because we found her like this the next morning. But no matter how much we called her, she didn't wake up. We then realized that something was wrong. Take a look at her. Okay. Sima Yue walked over and took out her right hand to check her pulse. After a while she put it back. How is she? Shui Rong asked. Where did you guys go? Violet Water Swamp. You guys went to the Violet Water Swamp? Sima Yue looked at Shui Rong in surprise. At that time, they said that they would choose a more difficult mission to earn more cultivation points. Some people saw that the mission in the Violet Water Swamp was easier and insisted on going there. Shui Rong was a little angry when she said this. If they didn't go there, how would this happen? The Violet Water Swamp is one of the top 10 dangerous places in the outer region. Even if this mission isn't difficult, the environment itself is very dangerous. How can it be easy? Sima Yue shook her head in disagreement. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the Special Action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. Chapter 785. What happened to Yuan? If I'm not wrong, she was attacked by something from the Violet Water Swamp. Sima Yue said. Spirit beast? What kind of spirit beast would attack a person like this? Shui Rong thought about it in her mind. She couldn't think of any of the spirit beasts they had encountered that could cause such an outcome. She was very puzzled. Sima Yue stood up and said, the phantom worm is a type of transparent worm that is smaller than a sesame seed. It is a spiritual type spiritual worm. After being bitten by it, one will fall into an illusion and will not be able to wake up. To outsiders it will look like they are sleeping. The illusions were all beautiful dreams, so most of the people who were bitten had serene expressions and smiles on their faces. How long has she been asleep? 10 days. What happened? If a person bitten by a phantom bug doesn't wake up within half a month, they will never wake up again. Fortunately, she didn't exceed the time limit. He can still be saved. Sima Yue said. Then can you save her? I can't do it now. Sima Yue shook her head. I can't do it with my current body. You can tell the teachers about her reasons. The teachers definitely know how to solve it. It's just that they haven't thought of the reason yet, so they came up with a solution. What if teacher can't cure him? Shui Rong asked worriedly. If she's still like this after 4 days, you can come and find me. My injuries should be healed by then. Sima Yue said. All right. Thank you for coming today. Shui Rong said gratefully. I can't help you much with my current body. Sima Yue said. You've already helped a lot by finding the reason. Shui Rong said, we'll ask the teacher for help. If it still doesn't work, we'll have to ask for your help again. All right. If it doesn't work, you can come to the parting garden to find me. You're not feeling well. I'll send you back. Thank you. When the people outside saw Shui Rong and Sima Yue coming out after a short while, they thought that she was out of ideas. Their faces darkened. When Shui Rong came back from outside and saw them like this, she said, why do you guys look even worse than before? Yue is a doctor and has been praised by Mr. Gu, but she is still young. It's normal that she can't tell the reason. Sigh, I didn't have much hope at first, but now I can't say that I'm disappointed. It's a pity that there's one less hope. Like I said, it's useless to look for her. What are you guys chattering about? Shui Rong walked over and said to Ma Bojian, I'm going to look for the teacher and pass on Yue's message to him. Let's see if there's any way. What? Did Yue say anything? Yes. She found out the reason for Yuan's coma, but because of her injuries she can't save her. She asked me to tell the teacher the reason and see if the teacher has any ideas. Shui Rong said, come with me to find the teacher. All right. The two of them left some instructions to the members of the club and went to look for the teacher. Hey, this Sima Yue only went in for a while and found the reason? Is she really that good? The little guy from before still couldn't believe it. He felt like he was hallucinating. I told you Yue is very good. Didn't you say that you were disappointed just now? Did I? I definitely didn't say that. The teacher who treated Yuan walked out of his alchemy room. Shui Rong and Ma Bojian went up to him. Teacher Su. Shui Rong went up and bowed to Teacher Su. Shui Rong? Teacher Su saw Shui Rong and Ma Bojian and thought that they were here to see him. He said, I've already reported Yuan's situation. The school will contact you soon. Teacher Su, we found the reason for Yuan's coma. Shui Rong said. You found the reason? Teacher Su was surprised. Yes. Shui Rong nodded, we found a classmate. She went to take a look and found the reason for her coma. Classmate? Which classmate? Sima Yue. She said that Yuan must have been bitten by a type of spirit insect called the phantom bug. Phantom bug? Teacher Su thought carefully and said, if it's the phantom bug, it's really possible for such a situation to happen. Let's go, quickly take me to see it. Shui Rong saw Teacher Su's expression and knew that he had a way. She immediately nodded happily and led him over. Teacher Su examined Yuan again. With a direction, it was indeed easier for him to find some of her characteristics. Teacher Su, how is it? Yes, it's indeed the symptoms of the phantom bug. Teacher Su said, why didn't I find it before? Yue said that the phantom bug is not common and can only be found in the violet water swamp. That's why most people would not think of it. Shui Rong said. Yue? Sima Yue? Teacher Su asked. Yes. So it's her. Teacher Su said. Teacher Su, do you know her? I've heard some things about her. Teacher Su said, since we know that it's the phantom bug, then we have a way to wake her up. But we need 7 days to prepare. 7 days? That won't do. Yuan has been unconscious for 10 days. Yue said that we can wait for 5 days at most. Otherwise Yuan will never wake up. Shui Rong said. Only 5 days? Teacher Su looked at the person on the bed worriedly and said, I'll go and discuss with the other teachers to see if there's any other way. I'll go back first. Sorry to trouble you, Teacher Su. After Teacher Su left, Shui Rong went out and told the members of the club outside. It seems that we have to prepare for a backup plan. If Teacher Su and the others can't do it, we can only ask Yue for help. I hope Yuan will be fine. If Yuan wakes up, we have to ask her not to tell anyone about it. But even if we don't say anything, the news will spread very quickly. Even so, we still have time. If it wasn't for this, Yuan wouldn't have. Ma Bojian walked over and scolded, shut up. Is that something we can talk about here? If someone hears about it, we'll be in trouble. After being yelled at, those people immediately fell silent, looking as if they had done something wrong. Ma Bojian and Shui Rong looked at each other and entered the room together. What do you think about that matter? Shui Rong asked. We still have to wait for Yuan to wake up before we can confirm the situation, Ma Bojian said. If it's really, then we have to report it to the academy. It's a pity for those brothers. Out of so many people, only Yuan escaped alive. When she wakes up and finds out the truth, we can only hand this matter to the academy. Chapter 786. 4 days later, Xiao Yuan still did not wake up. Shui Rong went to look for Sima Yue. Sima Yue had basically recovered from her injuries in the past 2 days. As her strength increased, her physique also developed more and more. This kind of external injury could usually be healed very quickly. It was even more effective than those medicinal pills. Yue, thank you for coming today. Shui Rong welcomed Sima Yue into Su Yuan's room. Do you need me to do anything? Roll up her arms, legs and clothes. Sima Yue said. All right. Shui Rong saw that Shu Yuan's sleeves were rolled up to her elbows, and her pants were rolled up to her knees. Is that okay? Sima Yue looked at it and said, it's done. She took out a pill and fed it to Qin Yuan. After waiting for a few minutes, she took a silver needle to the bedside and inserted a few needles into Qin Yuan's arms, legs and head. When she pierced the last needle in, Xiao Yuan's body trembled violently. She took a deep breath, then suddenly opened her eyes and gasped for air. She looked around frantically as if she hadn't realized where she was. Seeing Shui Rong at the side, she said excitedly, "Rong Rong Rong Rong, there are so many monsters. Those people, they are all dead." Shui Rong grabbed her hand and comforted her. "Yuan Yuan, don't be afraid. It's all right now. You're in the academy now. Everything is fine." "Are you all right now?" Su Yuan Yuan stared blankly at Shui Rong. When she saw Shui Rong nodding, she burst into tears. She wanted to hug Shui Rong, but Sima Yue pressed her against her chest. "The needle is still on you. Don't move." Shui Rong and Su Yuan Yuan were both stunned by her actions. Su Yuan Yuan even forgot to react. Sima Yue let go of her and said, "If you move, don't blame me if the needle goes in." Yue. Only then did Su Yuan Yuan see Yue clearly. Then she remembered that Yue was pressing down on her part just now. She immediately blushed. "Yuan Yuan, you fainted in the violet water swamp. Yue woke you up." Shui Rong was afraid that Yuan Yuan would say something she shouldn't, so she quickly explained. "Thank you, Yue." Xiao Yuan Yuan understood and smiled gratefully at Sima Yue. "Lie down and don't move. I'm going to remove the needles and release the poisonous blood." Sima Yue removed the needle from her head. Then she cut her finger and poured the poisoned blood into the basin that she had prepared earlier. The faint blood flowed for half a plate before it stopped. By the time Sima Yue stopped the bleeding, Su Yuan Yuan was about to faint due to excessive blood loss. "All right." Sima Yue stopped the bleeding and gave Su Yuan Yuan a pill. Then she removed the needles and said, "The poisonous blood has been released. She's basically fine now. It's just that she lost too much blood. The pill I gave her just now is to replenish her blood. Give her another 2 pills later and she'll be fine." "Thank you, Yue," Shui Rong said. "You're welcome. Since she's fine now, I should go back. I'll send you back." "It's okay. She just woke up. You should accompany her." "How can I not find my way back in the academy?" Sima Yue smiled. "Oh right, I'll go into seclusion later on to prepare for the 3 great conferences. So, I don't want anyone to come and find me. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone about this." Shui Rong promised. However, the news still spread. However, it wasn't from Shui Rong and the others but from the teachers. It turned out that when Teacher Su was still preparing to save Su Yuan Yuan, Shui Rong and the others came and said that Su Yuan Yuan had already recovered. Teacher Su was still worried that he wouldn't be able to save her in time. So he curiously asked Sima Yue how she had saved her. When Shui Rong was telling her about it, a student just happened to pass by. When that student heard it, he was shocked and did not know how to keep his mouth shut. As a result, very quickly the news of Sima Yue curing an illness that even the teachers could not cure spread like wildfire across the entire school. The news of the Thunder sect obtaining 30,000 cultivation points hadn't even passed. Then the news of Sima Yue spread. The Thunder sect became a legend in everyone's eyes. Everyone wanted to join them. However, when they went to Sima Yulin's dormitory to look for them, they were already gone. When they asked Tuoba Yenair and the others, they found out that they had all asked for leave. Sima Yue didn't ask for leave. However, not everyone dared to barge into Su Jin's parting garden. At this moment, Sima Yue and the others were eating delicious food in the backyard. "Little junior brother, just how unlucky are you? You've been out for such a short period of time and you've been injured so many times." Han Miao Shuang nibbled on a drumstick and drank fruit wine. She laughed and teased Sima Yue about her bad luck. Sima Yue sighed and said, "I think I'm pretty unlucky too." She thought about how she had been struck by lightning twice in the few months she had been out. She was almost killed by the death aura. Others didn't have such good luck. Others have only injured their arms and legs. You, on the other hand, injured your entire body. From top to bottom, inside to outside, there's not a single bit that's healed. Kang Junshul rarely joked. However, Sima Yue didn't want to laugh at all. "Why do I see gloating in your eyes?" Sima Yue glared at him unhappily. "If you laugh at me again, I won't give you anything to eat." "How am I laughing at you? I'm just speaking the truth." Kang Junshul said, "Look, when have you not been shocked to the core? Let's talk about the time you saved your brother. In the end, you actually got yourself into the chaotic world. Go and get a bird's egg. You struck a few hundred god-ranked and monarch-ranked experts. Then you struck yourself until there's not a single piece of skin left unscathed. Then go and check on the news. You were almost killed by the Ghost Clan. Should I say that you're lucky every time or that you're just too unlucky?" Sigh. Sima Yue sighed heavily. "Senior brother, I'll give you my luck. It's useless even if you give it to me. Kang Junchul skillfully snatched the chicken wing that she had just roasted from her hands. Sima Yue was speechless. Did he have to be so skillful? Junior brother, don't worry. Although master has left, we'll still take care of you. Su Xiaoxiao said seriously. Sima Yue nodded. She picked up a skewer of tenderloin and continued to roast it. Her face revealed a trace of worry. Han Miao Shuang took a bite of the meat and drank a mouthful of wine. She felt that this feeling was too wonderful. Seeing that Sima Yue was in a daze, she used her elbow to poke her and said, Junior brother, you don't have to worry about master. He said that he had something to do. But from what I see, he just wants to change his current life. Don't worry. Sima Yue lifted the corner of her mouth. She wanted to smile but she couldn't. He even left his life jade behind. Didn't he feel that he would be in danger? Chapter 787. Little junior brother, don't worry. Master is a scourge who lives for thousands of years, he won't die so easily. Kang Junchul said with a poisonous tongue. However, Sima Yue could still hear a trace of worry in his voice, but it was not as strong as hers. They don't know where master went, right? Otherwise they wouldn't be so calm. Oh right, why isn't Little Seven back yet? Han Miao Shuang asked. Little Seven went to evolve. He won't be back anytime soon. Sima Yue said. Little Seven is indeed not human. Su Xiaoxiao sighed. Evolution. Kang Junchul narrowed his eyes. Generally, the advancement of spirit beasts could not be called evolution. Only when spirit beasts opened their bloodlines and entered a higher level could it be called evolution. Little Seven had actually evolved. What exactly was she? At this moment, Fatty Chu and the others were still staring blankly at the creature. Is this really Little Seven? Fatty Chu pointed at Little Seven in shock, not daring to believe it. Little Seven's identity is really unexpected. Sima Yuran said while shaking his head. It really is shocking. This time, even Sima Yulin, who had always been calm, was no longer calm. When Yue let them in, she only said that Little Seven was evolving inside, so they came to take a look. They didn't expect to see this scene. No wonder Yue managed to obtain the Eye of the Earth after just a few days. So the owner is here. Wei Ziqi shook his head and laughed. They had been searching for information about the Eye of the Earth ever since they arrived at the inner court, but they had made no progress in the past year. On the other hand, Yue had only been here for a short period of time, but she had already gotten to know Little Seven and had even received a gift from her. Fate was indeed important between people. Since Little Seven is here, then let's sit here and meditate. Sima Yuming said. I heard that Little Seven can help people cultivate and increase the speed of repair. Let's give it a try. Fatty Chu took out a praying mat and placed it beside Little Seven before sitting down. Sima Yulu took a deep breath saying, This smell is really the same as the one I usually smell in the sect. No, it's much denser. Alright, go and cultivate. Sima Yuming patted him on the back, urging him on. Sima Yulu chuckled as he went to find a praying mat and placed it beside Fatty Chu. After he sat down, he was so excited that he couldn't cultivate. Fatty. He poked Fatty Chu, who seemed to have already entered a meditative state. Can you cultivate? I can't. Fatty Chu didn't even open his eyes as he said blankly. Sima Yulu was amused by the way he was behaving and patted him on the shoulder. Good boy, you can't cultivate and you're still pretending to be so serious. Fatty Chu opened one eye and stared at him saying, Aren't I trying to calm myself down? Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll have to fly around the spirit pagoda 3 times. Pfft. Everyone was amused by his behavior. Fatty, I think you should go fly 3 rounds. Otherwise, you won't be able to cultivate properly in the future. Bei Gong Tang laughed as she said. I think so too. Fatty, you should go fly. Ouyang Fei looked at Fatty Chu, implying that if he didn't fly, he wouldn't be able to cultivate today. You guys, you're all so excited. Don't make me fly alone, let's do it together. Fatty Chu opened both eyes and glared at them. We're excited, but we're not pretending to be serious. Sima Yuran said with a smile. You guys are too bad. Just now, you all said that you wanted to cultivate, but now you're all laughing at me. Fatty Chu was unhappy. Who asked you to be stupid? Wei Ziqi said, Since nobody is in the mood to cultivate, why don't we find something else to do? Yulin, what's wrong with you? Everyone heard what Wei Ziqi said and looked at Sima Yulin. His face was no longer as excited as before. Instead, it was filled with worry. He looked at Little Seven and said worriedly, There are so many people outside, so many forces looking for her. If people know that she's here, I don't know what kind of carnage it will cause. That's right. Wei Ziqi sighed as well. Yu Yu's things are all so heaven-defying. Every single one of them will cause an earthquake if the outside world knows about it. That's why we have to keep it a secret for her. Fatty Chu said. Oh right, didn't Yu Yu say that the 2 ghost clansmen are still in the spirit pagoda? Since we don't want to cultivate, let's go and see the 2 ghost clansmen. That's fine too. Then let's go. Outside the spirit pagoda, Han Miao Shuang hit Sima Yu Yu's arm and said, Yu Yu, it's the tenderloin. Sima Yu Yu lowered her head and looked at the barbecued meat in her hand. It was indeed burnt. Cough cough, I was distracted. She threw the burnt meat aside and picked up a few skewers again. What are you thinking about? Little Seven? Han Miao Shuang asked. Yeah. Sima Yu Yu didn't deny it. Little Seven got first place in the previous billboard ranking meeting, right? Yeah. Is that little brat? Han Miao Shuang said, if I didn't go out and overhear people talking about it, I wouldn't know that she got first place. What do you plan to participate in? I want to try everything and see where I stand. Sima Yu Yu said, of course the main focus is still alchemy. If it was in the past she might have focused on the billboard ranking meeting. But after this incident she wanted to bring back some glory for Su Jin. Although he couldn't see it now and didn't care. Little junior brother, if you were to do alchemy you would probably scare everyone. Su Xiao said. Senior brother and senior sister, will you be participating in the 3 big meetings? We won't be participating. It's boring to participate every time. Kang Junshul's eyelids were glued together again. Sima Yu Yu suspected that this guy didn't want to eat and was preparing to sleep. She divided the meat skewers into Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiaoxiao's bowls. Kang Junshul opened his eyes immediately and looked at his empty plate, saying, mine. Sima Yu Yu redistributed the meat skewers to the 3 of them. Then she took out a few eggplants and chili and started to roast them. You can roast vegetables too? Han Miao Shuang's eyes lit up. She had never eaten roasted vegetables before. Of course, the taste of roasted vegetables is very good. Especially this eggplant, I like it the most. Sima Yu Yu said as she roasted them. I believe it will be so delicious that even your tongue will want to swallow it. Han Miao Shuang looked at the vegetables in anticipation. Sima Yu Yu roasted the vegetables and shared them, saying, oh right, I thought of something. What? Have you been to the Violet Water Swamp? Violet Water Swamp? Never been there. What happened? Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiaoxiao looked at her. Kang Junshul lowered his head and ate the roasted eggplant. She didn't know if he was listening. I suspect that something happened in the Violet Water Swamp. Sima Yu Yu replied. Chapter 788. What's wrong? Kang Junshul's voice was still lazy, but it made Yu Yue feel at ease. Didn't I go to treat Xiao Yuan this morning? Then I realized there was a problem. Sima Yu Yue thought for a while and organized her words. She continued, she was bitten by the phantom worm. That's true. Phantom bug? Wasn't that something that could only be found in the graveyard of the Violet Water Swamp? They went to the cemetery? Han Miao Shuang asked in surprise. It was so easy to talk to professionals. Most books only record that phantom worms live in Violet Water Swamp, and many people only know this. But I didn't know that this can only be found in cemeteries. Sima Yu Yue said, I asked Shui Rong and the rest if they had been to any special places. She said no, they were bitten when they were on a mission in the swamp. If it's just a normal graveyard, there's nothing to hide. But they didn't tell you the truth, so you guess what happened there? Su Xiaoxiao asked. Yes. Sima Yu Yue nodded. But I'm just curious. When Xiao Yuan woke up, she was very frightened. It seemed that many people had died. I think the academy will receive the news soon. Why? Su Xiaoxiao asked. So many people have died, the Cliff Mountain Society needs to give the academy an explanation. Kang Junshul said, now we just have to see if the academy will announce this news. I don't think so. Han Miao Shuang guessed. For the Cliff Mountain Society to hide this matter for so long, it must not be a small matter. Otherwise they would have told the academy when they came back. Now that the 3 great meetings are around the corner and the billboard rankings are about to be rearranged, this is a matter of utmost importance to the academy. The teachers will not speak of it at this time and disturb the students' hearts. Thinking about it, it made sense. Then it seems like we won't have a chance to find out what's going on. Sima Yu Yue said. If you want to know, you can look for Director Mao in 2 days. Kang Junshul said, grill me another eggplant. Sima Yu Yue took out another eggplant and placed it on the grill. Seeing Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang looking at her, she took out another 2 eggplants and said, I don't want to go out now. The students of the academy are too crazy. Just hide here. You have nothing to do now anyway. Just stay here and prepare for the 3 great conventions. Su Xiaoxiao laughed. Yeah, I think so too. Sima Yue said. By the way, junior brother, tell us about the dark forest. Previously, I only heard Master mention a few words, but didn't go into detail. Han Miaoshuang said, Did you guys leave the academy and go to the dark forest? No, we encountered something even worse before we reached the dark forest. There's something worse? Quick, tell me. Actually, it's nothing much. We were just sold by someone. Sima Yue was still speechless when she thought about the West Coast desert. Han Miaoshuang spat out the wine in her mouth. She didn't care about her image at all. You were sold? She pointed at Sima Yue with a face full of disbelief. Su Xiaoxiao glanced at her blankly. He was speechless as he condensed a ball of flame to dry the wine that Su Xiaoxiao spat on him. Even Kang Junchul's lazy eyes had a hint of interest. Come, tell senior brother and senior sister. How were you sold? Senior brother loves to see others suffer. Sima Yue was speechless. Why didn't she realize that senior brother was so bad? Junior brother, don't bother about him. Quick, tell us. How were you sold? Han Miaoshuang looked at Sima Yue agitatedly. Although she said to ignore Kang Junchul, wasn't she acting just like Kang Junchul? Sima Yue put an extra layer of chili on the grilled eggplant. She added a spoonful of salt and some vinegar and placed it on their plates. Then she started to speak. It's because the sex teleportation array is too deceitful. It didn't send us to the place we wanted to go. Instead, it sent us to the West Coast Desert. West Coast Desert? That's still a far cry from the dark forest. Han Miaoshuang said. Yeah. Sima Yue sighed and continued. The West Coast Desert is so big and it's our first time there. The first thing we met was a despicable bald bird. Because it was unhappy that we taught it a lesson, it pointed us in a random direction. It even said that we would reach in 2 days. After that, we flew for 2 days and didn't even see a single bird feather. Han Miaoshuang burst out laughing again. I didn't think that you guys would be deceived by a bald bird. Was that the one that was sold? Su Xiaoxiao asked. No, when I said sold, I meant sold. Sima Yue said. Don't interrupt. Kang Junchul glanced at the 2 of them. The 2 of them stopped talking and waited for Sima Yue to continue. Sima Yue looked at their sparkling eyes and wanted to poke them with a barbecue skewer. What happened after that? After that? When we realized that we were deceived, we couldn't find that bald bird anymore. Coincidentally, we met a woman at that time. She was quite pretty. Very charming. Han Miaoshuang was speechless. You're a girl. You don't have to describe that woman like that, right? After the previous experience, we decided to let her bring us there. So we gave her money and she brought us to the nearest city. Then she sold you guys? The city that she brought us to was affiliated with a sect. It was a place for minors to rest. Sima Yue said. That woman took the other party's money. In the end, she was defeated by Little Seven with 1 punch. Haha, Han Miaoshuang knocked the table with her chopsticks. She was laughing so hard that she couldn't breathe. Didn't you give her money to sell you guys? Haha, why would you do such a stupid thing? That sect, could it be the Brave Moon sect? Kang Junchul said. Yes, that's it. Sima Yue said. They wanted to put the slave rings on us. In the end, we released all their slaves. Then, not long after, they were destroyed. Damn, those people were you guys. Han Miaoshuang cursed and looked at Sima Yue in shock. Sima Yue blinked and looked at her in confusion. Previously, there were students who came back and said that the Brave Moon sect offended someone. They asked them to destroy their sect. So, you guys are the ones who have been spreading rumors about you all the time. You all knew? Of course, many people in the sect used to worship those young people. I didn't expect it to be you guys. Han Miaoshuang said in disbelief. I guess the thing they regret the most is that they bought you guys from the West Coast Desert. Ah. Chapter 789. Sima Yue looked at the expressions on their faces. She saw them laughing and stuffing her spiced grilled eggplant into their mouths, waiting for their reactions. But these guys were so amused by her that they didn't notice that the smell this time was a little strange. I realized that when little junior brother goes out, it will definitely shake the heavens and earth. Han Miaoshuang said. Did she? Last time when you went back, Teacher Gu said that it made him experience nervousness, excitement, and worry that he hadn't experienced for many years. In the end, you sent yourself to the chaotic world. That was her own thrilling experience, all right? How could it be earth-shattering? After that, you can go out and carry out a mission. You can destroy an entire sect. Although you are just a catalyst, you are also the reason, right? Weren't they the ones who provoked him first? She didn't want to get into that kind of trouble. After that, you annihilated hundreds of experts from hundreds of forces in the Dark Forest. You were the one who did it. The entire outer perimeter was shaken by that incident, and the Foundation was almost shaken. That was because they wanted to snatch Little Two and kill him. She was just retaliating. I went to Bright Red Mountain Peak to investigate, but the ghost race was involved and I almost died. Whether it was the destruction of a sect, the Dark Forest, or the Bright Red Mountain Peak, which one of them was not an earth-shattering event? Yeah, what's with that expression of yours? Are you going to deny it? Han Miao Shuang looked at Sima Yue and wanted to poke her with a chopstick, but she was hit back with a barbecue stick. I also think that the things that little junior brother does are very fun. Kang Junchul said, since it's so fun, then let's go together in the future? Cough cough, Sima Yue almost choked on her own saliva. She looked at Kang Junchul in shock and said, you're not joking, right? Are you kidding me? Kang Junchul said with a serious face, Master is no longer here. As your senior brothers, we naturally have to protect you and teach you well. It's only right that I go out with you. Give me another one. Don't add so much salt, pepper, and vinegar. Sima Yue looked at Kang Junchul in amusement. This guy usually looked lazy and did not care about anything. She did not expect him to have such a shameless side. Kang Junchul on the other hand had other ideas. Before Su Jin left, he did tell them to take care of Sima Yue. Although she didn't come for long, she was indeed young in their eyes. She was just a fraction of their age, so they had to add another digit in front of her age. The person Su Jin chose was the same as him, stubborn. Since they were together, they were a family and had to support each other. It was their duty to take care of her. Birds of a feather flock together. Otherwise, how could Su Jin have only taken in 4 disciples after living for several hundred years? By the way, junior brother, what's the matter with the mineral load of the Brave Moon sect? Su Xiaoxiao asked. Those rumors are so exaggerated. Is the mine really gone? It should be. Sima Yue said, at that time, we also ran away together and did not pay attention to whether or not there was anyone behind us. When Kang Junchul heard her words, he smiled and did not say anything. Junior brother, there's something that Master has always wanted to ask you. Unfortunately, he didn't have the chance. Kang Junchul looked straight at Sima Yue and said. Sima Yue looked at Kang Junchul's eyes and felt a little scared. Did this guy know that she was lying? When she was thinking about how to deal with it, Kang Junchul said something that surprised her even more. The 10 great villains are now your people, right? He smiled faintly. The expression on his face was both evil and righteous. Sima Yue could not see his thoughts for a moment. She thought about it and did not immediately deny it. Instead she asked, how do you know? This was admitting that the 10 great villains were now her people. Master said so. Kang Junchul pushed the blame to Su Jin. Usually I don't see you and Master talking much. Both of you sleep whenever you have time. Could it be that you have sex in your dreams? Han Miao Shuang interrupted. Sima Yue originally had a little bit of vigilance in her heart, but it was immediately washed away by her words. That's right, they are now my people. She said, how did Master guess? You took on 3 missions. Master knew when you left with them. When he saw the 10 great villains with your brother and the others, he guessed that they were in cahoots. He also saw that one of them was sickly, so he guessed that you made a deal with them. Master guessed correctly, right? Yes, you're right. Sima Yue did not continue to roast meat. She sat on her seat and took out a glass of wine. She said faintly, but did Master guess it or did you guess it? Isn't it the same whoever guessed it? Kang Junchul moved his body and said, anyway, the result is the same. Result? Master asked the Academy's mission office to withdraw this mission. Withdraw? Sima Yue was surprised. Master asked for it to be withdrawn? He still has some status in the Academy. He has the right to withdraw a mission. Sima Yue was silent for a while and asked, then why is senior brother asking me this? Actually, it's nothing. I just wanted to ask, what are you planning to let them do if there's anything fun? Kang Junchul said casually. She took 2 deep breaths and said, no. Really? No. She said with certainty. She did not want them to know about the matter of forming a force. Not to mention the fact that they hadn't succeeded yet. Even if they did, they had to make sure that as few people as possible knew about their existence in the future. Alright, since you don't want to say, then to protect your safety and complete Master's instructions, we can only follow you at all times. If you do something dangerous and something happens, you die or become disabled. How are we going to answer to Master? Kang Junchul looked as if it was up to her to say it or not, which made her gnash her teeth in anger. Sima Yue gritted her teeth. She had the urge to pounce on him and beat him up. Fox, a black-bellied fox. It won't do you any good to know. It's not up to you to decide if there are any benefits. If it's really not good, then we'll choose not to hear about it. You're ruthless. I asked them to find a place for me to form a force. Form a force? Really? Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiaoxiao stared at Sima Yue in shock. Even Kang Junchul was surprised. He looked at her with a deep gaze. Little junior brother, are you right? You want to form a force? Han Miao Shuang felt that she was being pressured too much by Kang Junchul and spoke nonsense. Chapter 790. Sima Yue glanced at the three of them. Since she had said so, she would not lie to them. Why are you forming a force? Kang Junchul asked. He and Su Jin had thought of many possibilities. They thought that she was going to do something dangerous, so they wanted to ask her. She was still so young, so she shouldn't do those dangerous things. But she actually wanted to establish a force. This was really beyond his expectations. Of course I have something to do, Sima Yue said. Little junior brother, you still want to establish a force? Why didn't you invite me for such a fun thing? Han Miao Shuang ran to her side and reached out to pinch her cheeks. Then she began to rub them. Sima Yue struggled to escape from the devil's claws and said, I didn't build it for fun. Then what did you build it for? Han Miao Shuang looked at her curiously. Senior sister, don't ask about this. Don't tell me you're going to rob and rob. Senior sister, that's enough. We're fellow disciples. Don't tell me you really don't want to tell me? It's not that I don't want to, but I can't. Sima Yue said, what I'm going to do is very dangerous. It's not something ordinary. When Han Miao Shuang heard this, she hooked her neck and said faintly, what you mean is that your senior sister is someone who is afraid of danger and can't tell me about this? Senior sister, the more you don't say it, the more I want to know. How about it, are you going to tell me? Han Miao Shuang smiled, her arms around Yu's neck tightened. Sima Yue was more powerful than her, so she could easily break free, but she did not do so. Senior sister, I haven't started yet. I'll tell you when I'm done. You haven't started yet? Does that mean it's going to be done later? Why don't I do it with you? Han Miao Shuang's eyes lit up with interest. Senior sister, it's not that I don't want you to do it, but once I find out, I can't withdraw. Wouldn't it be bad if I implicate you? Don't be afraid. I, your senior sister, have no father, no mother, and no clan. It doesn't matter if I'm implicated. Anyway, there's nothing exciting to do in the academy all day. Sima Yue could not find an excuse. Little junior brother, if you don't let me participate, I won't keep it a secret for you. I'll tell Xiao Xiao and the others. All right then. I'll tell you later. Sima Yue compromised this time. That's it? Su Xiaoxiao looked at Sima Yue and told Han Miao Shuang, Junior brother, let me join too. Seems pretty good. Xiao, are you planning to sweep the floor of Junior brother's sect? Before Sima Yue could speak, Han Miao Shuang spoke first. You're the one sweeping the floor. Su Xiaoxiao said unhappily, we are all fellow disciples. You can't just tell her and not us. Then why don't you go and grasp Junior brother's secret? Then see if little Junior brother will tell you. Han Miao Shuang said proudly. What secret do you know? I already said it's a secret. How can I tell you? Han Miao Shuang lifted her chin, showing that she was in a good mood. You want the 10 great villains to help you build a force. Do you want to build a villains gang? Kang Junchul was not as agitated as Su Xiaoxiao and guessed. You can say so. Sima Yue said. Master said not to let you go out because there are many people out there who want to kill you. So it's hard to say if you want to build a force. Threat? It was a blatant threat. Of course if you let us join in it'll be different. Bad guy. I don't have any parents or clan here. Kang Junchul added. Pa. The wine glass in her hand shattered, but her hand was not hurt at all. Don't be angry. Didn't I give you a choice? Kang Junchul said with a smile. He was not intimidated by Sima Yue's aura at all. What do you mean I don't have any parents or clan here? Do you mean there are other places? Then I can't tell you. She shrugged and said, "It won't affect your business. Maybe I can help you." Sima Yue looked at him in confusion. Her mind was quickly turning over the memories. It seemed that there was no famous Jiang family on the road. "Little brother, if you want to tell them, you can't not tell me," Su Xiaoxiao said quickly when she saw Sima Yue's silence. She thought he agreed. Sima Yue sighed and said, "You don't have to do this. I don't know what master said to you to take care of me, but there are some things that you don't have to do. Since I've made the decision, I won't change it." Kang Junchul said, "Say it." Sima Yue closed her eyes and thought for a while. She said, "Then I'll tell you. We set up the force to kill people. Because the other party is very strong and not easy to deal with. In order to prevent people from retreating and to avoid involving the innocent, we plan to only choose those outlaws. That's why you chose the 10 great villains." Kang Junchul said. Sima Yue nodded. "Then you also plan to choose those outlaws in the future?" Sima Yue nodded again. "It's not easy to tame those people to follow you." Kang Junchul had seen many such people when he went out with Su Jin. But once they surrender, they will be willing. "I know," Sima Yue said. "Okay, then when are we going to choose?" "We." Sima Yue looked at her and said, "You're going too?" "You're going too? How can we let you go alone?" "That's right." Han Miao Shuang poked Sima Yue's head and said, "How can we let you go alone? Of course we're going together." "When are you planning to go?" Su Xiaoxiao asked. "You're going too?" Sima Yue was helpless. "Of course. Both of them are going. How can I stay in the academy alone? It's dirty outside." Sima Yue tried to change her mind. "I'll clean myself," Su Xiaoxiao said without hesitation. "Okay then. You guys don't regret it," Sima Yue said. "What's there to regret?" Han Miao Shuang said, "If I continue to live an ordinary life, I'll regret it when I'm old." Sima Yue shook her head. She didn't agree with her idea of going with her for the sake of excitement. "When are we going?" "We haven't chosen the place yet. We haven't done anything yet. We'll talk about it after the 3 great meetings." "Okay, then let's wait for the 3 great meetings to end," Kang Junchul said. At this time, a small paper crane flew in from outside the courtyard and stopped in front of them. Chapter 791. What's this? Su Xiaoxiao wanted to catch the paper crane, but the paper crane quickly dodged and landed in front of Sima Yue. "This is Xiang Yi's paper crane." Sima Yue reached out and the paper crane landed on her palm. Her spiritual power dissipated and it became an ordinary paper crane. "I've heard that Kong Valley has a skill that can turn paper into spirit beasts. It seems like it's true." Kang Junchul looked at the paper crane thoughtfully. Sima Yue opened the paper crane and glanced at the message on it. "I need to go out for a while. Now. They're waiting for me outside, saying that they have something to tell me. Also, a few friends that I met at Bright Red Mountain Peak were worried about me, so they followed Fatty and the rest over. I want to meet them too." Sima Yue said, "Senior brother Su, I'll have to trouble you to pack up these things." "Okay, go ahead." Su Xiaoxiao nodded. "Go early and come back early. Come back and tell us in detail about your situation," Han Miao Shuang said. "All right. You're going out just like that? Aren't you afraid of being surrounded by those students?" Sima Yue thought about it and called Thousand Resonance out. She fused with him and changed into another appearance. "I'm leaving." She straightened her clothes and strode out of the parting garden. The fusion of spiritual techniques of the Sima family. Kang Junchul muttered, "Our little junior brother has many secrets." "You recognized it too?" Han Miao Shuang said. "It's so easy to recognize. How can I not recognize it?" Kang Junchul said, "It's just that we don't know what kind of relationship our little junior brother has with the Sima family. Little junior brother came from the continent below, there is no doubt about that. However, the spiritual techniques of the Sima family were never taught to outsiders. This was for sure. If they knew about junior brother's existence, I don't know how they would deal with it." Han Miao Shuang said worriedly. "What's there to be afraid of?" Kang Junchul waved his sleeves. "Our master is not someone who can be easily bullied. Who dares to bully our little junior brother? With master's temperament, wouldn't he destroy the other party's house? Isn't what happened to you the best proof of that?" Han Miao Shuang thought back to that year when she had just acknowledged him as her master. When he found out that she wasn't living well in the family, he went to get back at her and dealt with all the people who had bullied her in the family. Then he told those people in the family that she had nothing to do with them from now on. In the end he took her and left. Her lips curled into a smile. At this moment her smile was so beautiful. Yes, Master is indeed the best master in the world. But when Master went out this time he even left behind his life tablet. I think he must have met with misfortune. Su Xiao said. Where did Master go? Master is trying to find a way to prolong junior brother's life. Kang Junchul said. He spoke with Su Jin alone for a while before he left, telling him some things as well as the reason for his departure. However, he only said that he was going to look for a solution. He did not say why. What's wrong with junior brother? Su Xiao and Han Miao Shuang were shocked. Kang Junchul shook his head. Master is fine. He just told us to take good care of junior brother. Sigh. Sima Yue changed her appearance. When she left Parting Garden, she saw many people strolling outside intentionally or unintentionally. When they saw her come out, they all looked over. When they saw that it was someone they didn't know, they turned their gaze away. Sima Yue smiled. When she left the living area of the inner sect, she removed the fusion and returned to her original appearance. Then she went to the teleportation array. The two people guarding the array were still the same two people. When they saw Sima Yue, their eyes flashed with passion. However, when they thought of Yuan Shaojie's words, they could only suppress their thoughts. Yue, are you going out? Dewei asked with a smile. Yes. There's something I need to go back for. Sima Yue took out Su Jin's token and handed it to Dewei. Dewei took it and looked at it casually before returning it to her. Go. Be careful. Don't forget that there are many people who want to kill you. Sima Yue kept the token and said with a smile, I know. However, I think that those people won't dare to cause trouble in Heavenly City. Thank you both for your concern. She stood on the teleportation array and Little Wei activated it. Then she left. Sima residence. Shimin Feng was chatting with Sima Lai while Kong Sangyi was sitting at the side. When he saw that Sima Yue had returned, he stood up and looked at her carefully. Are you all right? I'm fine. Aren't I fine now? Sima Yue said with a smile. Yue, are you injured? Sima Lai walked over and looked at her from head to toe. Sima Yue saw him like this and knew that they didn't tell him about her situation. Grandfather, I'm fine. I just suffered a small injury before. Small injury? Would they hide it from us if it was a small injury? When those guys come back, I'll definitely teach them a lesson. Sima Lai said. He knew that those guys were acting weird that day. They were indeed hiding Yue's injury from him. Grandfather, I'm fine now, aren't I? Sima Yue held his arm. Brother and the others were afraid that you would be worried, so they didn't tell you. Don't be angry about the past. She shook his arm and begged for mercy. No, I have to teach them a lesson. Otherwise they'll hide everything from me in the future. That won't do. Sima Lai said angrily. Grandfather? Sima Yue kept shaking his arm. Sima Lai looked at his precious granddaughter and couldn't be angry anymore. He sighed and asked, Are you seriously injured this time? If it wasn't serious, those guys wouldn't have hidden it from him. Sima Yue nodded and said, When I was fighting with the Ghost Clan, I was hit with a death aura. In the end, it caused the death aura in my body to explode. I couldn't control it and gave them a chance to rebel. After that, Master brought me back to the academy and the principal and the others healed me. So it's nothing serious. Sima Lai glared at her and said, Do you really think that grandfather doesn't know anything? Hearing you say it, I know it's serious, but you still say it so casually. Isn't it all in the past? Brother and the others only heard about it from their friends and didn't see me with their own eyes, so how would they dare to tell you about my situation? What if they said something serious and scared you? Sima Yue said with a smile. I'll stay by your side in the future. Sima Lai said, Anyway, we don't have much to spend, so we can just cultivate in the spirit pagoda. I'll be more at ease if I follow you. Sima Yue hesitated for a moment, but still nodded and said, That's good too. Anyway, there's more time in there, so it'll be faster to cultivate. I was afraid that you guys wouldn't be able to interact with anyone in there and would feel bored. Then I'll go and discuss with the three of them. You siblings have things to discuss too. I won't disturb you guys. Sima Lai finished speaking and went to look for Sang Muyu and the others. Chapter 792. Sima Yue and Shimin Feng came to their seats and sat down. They took out the small paper crane and returned it to Kong Sangyi. Is there really no problem with your injury? I heard from them that your situation at that time was very frightening. Even Su Jin couldn't do anything. Shimin Feng was a little worried about her. It was a little scary at the time, but it's fine now. I won't joke about my body. Sima Yue said. Why did you call me out in a small paper box? And there is indeed something. Shimin Feng said, but you are the most important. Alright, I know you're worried about me. Now that you see that I am fine, can you tell me what happened? Sima Yue was amused by Shimin Feng and asked with a smile. We're here to ask you something. Kong Sengyi said, we previously obtained an array formation, but we don't know how to break it. That's why we came to you for help. Array formation? Your Kong Valley should have an array master, right? Sima Yue asked doubtfully. But our array master said that this array formation is not the current array formation, so there is no way to break it. Kong Sengyi said, we thought that you would know some ancient array formations, so we wanted to ask you for help. Asking for help? What's wrong? Are you guys trapped in that formation? Sima Yue asked. Yes. These are the parts that our formation masters drew based on the information they sent out. Kong Sengyi took out a piece of paper and passed it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue took it and opened it. There was only a part of the array, and only one corner was drawn in detail. She looked at it for a while and said, this should be a graveyard array, right? Yes, it's the graveyard's array formation. Can you solve it? Kong Sengyi asked excitedly. Sima Yue frowned and thought for a while, then said, there are too few arrays. It's similar to several other formations, but I'm not sure which one it is. He could only be sure if he saw it with his own eyes. Where is this array formation from? Kong Sengyi was silent for a moment, then said, this came from a tomb in the Violet Water Swamp. The mausoleum in the Violet Water Swamp? Why was it the Violet Water Swamp again? What's wrong, sister? Shimin Feng asked when he saw Sima Yue frowning. Nothing, I'm just curious as to why there's such an ancient formation in the Violet Water Swamp. Sima Yue said. How did the Kong Valley people get trapped here? This is something they discovered by accident. The disciples in the valley went to the Violet Water Swamp to complete their mission. Then they hurried over to take a look. There seemed to be some movement there. In the end, he accidentally fell into a swamp. Below the swamp was a mausoleum. Since they had discovered this place, they naturally had to explore it. Who knew that they would be trapped in the array formation in the end? It's a good thing that Jianghu knows a little about arrays. After he contacted the outside world, he spread the news. Jianghu? Don't tell me it's Jianghu who was trapped in the West Coast desert? Sima Yue raised her brows. Of course it's him. After Jianghu found out that you saved his brother, he kept saying that he wanted to thank you. He just escaped from the West Coast desert. How did he get trapped again? Sima Yue felt that this guy's luck was too good. He went with Jianghu. I was worried about them, so I let the disciples in the valley go with them. Kong Sengyi said. So you're saying that Jianghu is also inside? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Kong Sengyi hesitated for a moment, then said, I know that your school is holding a competition soon, but can you go over and take a look? Jianghu said that there are many mechanisms inside. I'm afraid that they won't be able to hold on for long. I can ask for leave to take a look and give it a try. But I might not be able to break it. I don't have 100% confidence either. Sima Yue said. Really? Thank you, Yue. But I have to go back to the school to ask for leave. Sima Yue said, this time I'm afraid that it will take some time. Although my master is not here, I still have to go back and tell the school. Okay. Then we'll wait for you. Before I go back, I have to go to Memory Restaurant. A few friends are still waiting for my news. Sima Yue said. Friends? They are the disciples of the heroic sword sect that I met at Bright Red Mountain Peak. They were worried about me because I was injured, so they followed me. Sima Yue explained. I'll go with you. Shimin Feng said. No need. I won't get lost. Sima Yue said, I'll go see them and then go back to the school. I can go by myself. Okay then. Sima Yue went to greet Sima Lai and left. Sima Lai felt that his decision was right. Ever since he came up, he had spent too little time with the children. But he couldn't go with them immediately. He still had to settle the matters of Memory Restaurant. Sima Yue went to Memory Restaurant. The shopkeeper saw her and immediately welcomed her. Young master. Shopkeeper, the friends that brother brought last time, are they still staying here? Sima Yue asked. Yes. They're in the first few rooms on the 3rd floor. The shopkeeper said. Oh, then I'll go up by myself. You can go to your work. Sima Yue said and went upstairs. When she came to the room at the end, she heard voices inside. She listened carefully and after confirming that they were chatting, she knocked on the door lightly. Who is it? Yu Qing opened the door and saw Sima Yue standing outside. She said in surprise, "Yue, you're better? Boss is here?" Chi Wei came over and saw Sima Yue standing outside their door. He hugged her happily. "Boss, if you didn't come, I wouldn't have been able to hold on." Cough cough, Sima Yue almost couldn't breathe from his hug. She patted his arm and asked him to let her go. "What do you mean you couldn't hold on? Why does this sound so ambiguous?" Sima Yue walked in and only then did she notice the two strangers in the room. They are Chi Wei's brothers. They're here to bring him back. Blue Blade explained. At the same time, they were here to see what kind of person their brother called Boss was. Chi Wei then introduced them to each other. "Little brother, you've seen him now. It's time to go back with us," one of Chi Wei's brothers said. Chi Wei seemed to listen to his brother. Although he was reluctant to part with Sima Yue, he still nodded his head obediently. "Boss, I'm relieved to see that you're better. Don't pull a long face. It's not like we won't see each other again," Sima Yue said. "Boss, if you go to the central region, remember to look for me." Chi Wei said a long list of ways to find him in the central region. At this moment, one of the mother-sun stones in her space ring suddenly moved. Chapter 793. Crazy Wife, Godly Doctor 5th Mish Chapter 2, Gift-Giving Category, Wuxia Cultivation Author, Fanguma Book Title. Sima Yue took out the mother stone and smiled apologetically at Blue Blade and the others. She inserted her spirit energy into it and said, "Eldest senior brother. Little junior brother, when are you coming back?" Kong Junshul's lazy voice made them wonder if he was already asleep. "I'll be back in a while." "What's the matter?" "There's something I wanted to discuss with you. Since you're coming back, I'll wait for you to come back," Kong Junshul said. "Then I'll go back early." "All right, wake me up when you come back." Kong Junshul's voice became softer and softer. Needless to say, he must have fallen asleep. Sure enough, a small voice came from inside. "Kong Junshul, can't you go back to the house and sleep? You're blocking me from cleaning." Sima Yue smiled at Blue Blade and the others. Seeing that they were a little surprised, she explained, "My eldest senior brother likes to sleep. I've embarrassed myself in front of you. The world is so big. There will always be people with special hobbies. It's not strange that he likes to sleep." Blue Blade said. "How's your injury?" Jolan asked. "It's already healed. I heard from my brothers that you came back especially to see me." "Thank you. You're my boss." "That's right, boss. I'm going back now. Do you have any parting gifts for me? For example, those little metal balls. I want to play with them." Chi Wei came in front of her and looked at her expectantly. "Little metal balls?" Sima Yue looked at Chi Wei in confusion. "It's the small metal balls that the people from your school used in Rhinoceros Valley. Insert a bit of spirit energy into it and it can explode." Chi Wei explained, "The last time I saw the people from your school use it, it looked really cool. Can you help me get a few to play with?" "You're talking about that little metal ball?" Sima Yue immediately knew what it was when she heard about the little metal ball that would explode after injecting her spirit power. "That's right. Over the past few days we've been looking around the shops here, but we haven't seen any of those little metal balls. Blue Blade said that they were probably developed by your academy, and they haven't been sold outside yet. I'm about to leave, so I can only look for you," Chi Wei said with a chuckle. Seeing that Sima Yue did not speak, the excitement on his face faded a little. He said, "Could this be the secret weapon of your academy that you can't reveal to outsiders?" Sima Yue saw the bitter expression on his face because of her guess and laughed out loud. "It's not a secret weapon. It's just something that Fatty developed for fun. Since you like it, I'll give you some." She took out a few and handed them to Chi Wei, who happily put them away. "Thank you, boss." Sima Yue thought that since she had already given a few to Chi Wei, she should give some to the others as well. Hence, she took out a dozen more and gave a few to each of them. "Fatty is lazy. I don't have a lot of these on me, so don't complain." When Blue Blade and the others saw that Chi Wei wanted the small metal ball, they also wanted it. However, they were not as direct as Chi Wei, so they were too embarrassed to ask. Now that Yue was giving it to them, they did not hesitate and accepted the small metal ball with thanks. "Boss, was this really developed by Fatty?" Chi Wei asked curiously. "That's right. Fatty is the only one in the world who knows how to make this. It's his exclusive product," Sima Yue said. When she heard Chi Wei talk about the power of Fatty's small balls on that day, she saw the expressions of Xian Minglang and the others. She guessed that part of the reason they came here was because of this. However, they were not bad people. Giving them some of these wouldn't be a big deal. It could even help Fatty advertise, so why not? Alright, little brother, we should go, one of Chi-Wei's brothers urged. Chi-Wei made a no sound, then looked at Sima Yue. Boss, I'll go back first. Remember to find me when you reach the central regions. Don't forget about me or I'll be sad. Sima Yue saw the reluctance in Chi-Wei's eyes. She took out 2 jade bottles and said, "These things are for you." "What is this?" Chi-Wei opened the lid. A thick pill smell wafted out. "What a thick pill smell. Boss, these pills must be very valuable, right?" "It's all right," Sima Yue said. "Keep it. Who knows, you might be able to use it to save your life." Chi-Wei put the things away and heavily patted Yue's shoulder. "Boss, you're so good to me. I'm so touched." Chi-Wei's other brother was the practical type. Seeing that he was still hesitating, he took out a boundary breaker talisman and opened a spatial passage. "Let's go." Chi-Wei saw that the spatial passage was open and knew that he could not delay any longer. He said goodbye and left with his 2 brothers. Sima Yue saw that the spatial passage was closed and the powerful aura in the room finally dissipated. Chi-Wei's family should be very powerful. His 2 elder brothers have such a strong aura. She sighed. Blue Blade nodded. It's a powerful family in the central regions. Sima Yue chatted with them for a while and heard them talk about the new powers in Bright Red Mountain Peak. Then she bid farewell and returned to the academy. Blue Blade and the others saw her situation and obtained the information they wanted. They left Jianghu City the next day. Sima Yue rushed back that night. Because she was thinking about something, she forgot to disguise herself. Thus, when she arrived at the inner courtyard, she was surrounded by students who were still walking around outside. Fortunately, at this time, most people were either cultivating or resting, so there weren't many students outside. After a few words, she quickly slipped away and hid in the parting garden. Those students followed her to the parting garden. After seeing her enter, they left unwillingly. Sima Yue stood in the parting garden. She patted her chest and let out a long sigh of relief. These guys are too crazy. They don't look like seniors at all. That's because you don't look like a new student either. Su Xiaoxiao appeared in front of her and smiled at her. "Sai, it seems like I have to be more careful the next time I go out. At least wait until this situation is over." Sima Yue said. "Alright, where's eldest senior brother?" "He's sleeping in his room." Su Xiaoxiao said. "I don't know why he's looking for me." Sima Yue said. "Then I'll wait until he wakes up tomorrow." She would apply for leave tomorrow. He said that we'll go look for him when you're back. Let's go. Sima Yue saw Su Xiaoxiao's expression. It seemed like he didn't know what was going on either. When they went upstairs, they knocked on Han Miao Shuang's door. She quickly opened the door and came out. She followed them to Kang Junshul's room. "Alright, youngest junior brother is here. Kang Junshul, tell me your plans." Han Miao Shuang grabbed a chair and sat down. Sima Yue looked at her and then looked at Kang Junshul. What was it that he had to wait for her to come back before he could say it? "Your arrival is the greatest support for us. If you like it, then introduce more friends." Chapter 794. Kang Junshul lazily sat up from the bed and took a pillow. He leaned against the wall behind him and moved his body. After he was comfortable, he said, "Today, Director Mao called me over to talk about the Rock Mountain Club." Sima Yue was not surprised. Shui Rong's incident had killed so many students, it was impossible to hide it. Moreover, judging from Xiao Yuanyuan's appearance, the things that had happened inside were definitely not small. It was not something that they could handle on their own. The only thing they could do was to inform the academy and let them deal with it. However, she was a little surprised that the academy would tell Kang Junshul about this. Could it be that they accidentally stumbled into a mausoleum, and everyone who went in died, leaving only Xiao Yuanyuan who desperately ran out? Sima Yue said. "You guessed right," Kang Junshul said. "Then how did Xiao Yuanyuan get out?" Sima Yue asked. "As far as I know, there should be a very ancient array in the tomb." Su Yuanyuan said that they didn't enter the formation. Because there were people inside, they stopped in their tracks. However, they were still affected by the array formation and 7 or 8 people died. Because Su Yuanyuan was at the back, she ran faster. It must be those people behind them who helped them stall for time. "She's lucky." Sima Yue sighed. "If not, why are they looking for you?" Su Yuanyuan said that she saw some creatures that she had never seen before. They looked very ancient. She was worried that something was wrong, so she wanted to send someone to take a look. "So they want us to go?" Sima Yue blinked. It's not us, it's you. Kang Junshul looked at Yue. But since you're going, we have to go too. So it's right for us to go. Looking for me? You want me to go? Sima Yue was really shocked. Are you kidding me? How could the academy let little junior brother go? That's too dangerous. Su Xiaoxiao was surprised. If we let junior brother go, wouldn't we be putting him in danger? Han Miao Shuang disagreed. I haven't even finished and you've already said so much, Kang Junshul said. Who told you to pant for so long? Su Xiaoxiao complained. Hurry up and tell me what happened. Han Miao Shuang urged. The academy is preparing to send people over. Because they know of the existence of the array, they went to look for the two people guarding the array. However, the two of them said that since ancient creatures had appeared, perhaps the array formation inside was also relatively ancient. So they want Yue to go with them, Kang Junshul said. Big Wei and Little Wei? Han Miao Shuang raised her eyebrows. It's them, Kang Junshul said. Junior brother knows arrays? Su Xiaoxiao looked at Sima Yue in surprise. Of course she knows how to set up formations. Kang Junshul looked at her. If you don't know how could you know how to enter our courtyard from the start? Weren't we the ones who brought her in the first time? She knew how to do it herself. She just didn't want to show off in front of you, so she followed you in. Su Xiaoxiao slapped her thigh and said excitedly, That's right. At that time I was wondering how junior brother could grasp the steps so quickly. Junior brother, you're teasing me? Junior brother didn't want to scare you? Han Miao Shuang said. After that, she wanted to verify it. Isn't that right, junior brother? I didn't think that junior brother was actually an array master. Su Xiaoxiao thought of her perfect alchemy skills and sighed. Actually, the two of you didn't notice. Didn't master mention it last time, that the array formation was set up by junior brother? Kang Junshul said. If the two of you thought more, you wouldn't be so surprised today. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miao Shuang thought about it and agreed. Then junior brother wants to go with them? Yes. Kang Junshul nodded. I already agreed. How could you agree? How dangerous is it for junior brother to go out? There are so many people outside who want to kill him. If they know that he went out, then... Xiaoxiao, are you stupid? Did you forget that master said that junior brother was in disguise? No one would know that it was him. As long as he didn't use that move, no one would recognize him. Han Miao Shuang said. That's true. Su Xiaoxiao smiled. I'm not worried about that. Han Miao Shuang said. I'm worried about the danger of this matter. Since the sect asked Big Wei and Little Wei to go together, it means that the situation there is very dangerous. Will junior brother be in trouble? There will definitely be danger. That's why they want us to go together. Kang Junshul said. It's my first time going out with junior brother. I'm a little excited. Han Miao Shuang clapped her hands and looked at Sima Yue. What are you excited about? Fun things always happen when he goes out. Who knows, it might be the same this time. Han Miao Shuang said. Sima Yue looked at them and settled the matter with their words. You haven't asked for my opinion. Han Miao Shuang walked over and hugged her shoulder. Junior brother, you can't reject us. We have to protect you. Or do you not want to go? Sima Yue shook her head. I came back tonight because I wanted to ask for leave from the sect. Where are you going? Violet Water Swamp. You plan to go alone? My friends came to find me. They said that their people were trapped in the tomb and wanted me to help take a look. Then we can go together. Did the sect say when we're leaving? If possible, tomorrow morning. Then I'll let them know. I'll also let Instructor Mao know. The next morning they set off. Sima Yue didn't go with Kong Sangyi and the others. She only asked them to meet at Jialing City near the Violet Water Swamp. Heavenly Sect was led by Fan Lei, Big Wei, Little Wei and a few other teachers. Sima Yue found that she didn't know many of these teachers. They shouldn't be the teachers who usually taught students. Other than these teachers, the rest were Sima Yue and her three senior siblings, Shuirong and Xu Yuan. Fan Lei directly broke through the passage. When they came out of the void, they were already outside Jialing City. Yue, Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi, who had been waiting outside the city, called out when they saw Sima Yue coming out. Sima Yue waved for them to come over. Then she briefly introduced them to each other. Xiangyi, where are the people in your valley? She asked. They're in the Violet Water Swamp. Dean Fan, since that's the case, let's go to the Violet Water Swamp earlier. Sima Yue saw that Kong Sangyi was a little anxious. She knew that he was worried about Jingwen and the others and wanted to go earlier. Fan Lei also wanted to confirm the situation there. He nodded. Then let's go and take a look. Chapter 795. Since Xiao Yuan said that they had seen people down there, it should be Jing Wen and the others, Crazy Wife. Divine Doctor 5th Miss Chapter 795. Therefore both parties had the same destination. Violet Water Swamp. Because this place was filled with violet plants, it made the swamp look like violet water, hence the name Violet Water Swamp. The place they were going to wasn't very far from Jianghu City. The group flew for more than a day before arriving at their destination. The Violet Water Swamp was not particularly large, only covering a radius of 1 million miles. However, there was a long mountain range behind her that stretched as far as the eye could see. People who wanted to gain experience liked to go to the back of the mountain range, where there were many opportunities and treasures. However, very few people dared to come to Violet Water Swamp because there were always many unknown dangers. They dismounted from their flying beasts, and the Kong Valley's people immediately came forward to welcome them. Mississippi, how are Jingwen and the others? Kong Sangyi asked. Not long ago they sent out another message saying that they can't hold on any longer. There are many strange creatures outside their protective circle. If they still can't break the formation, I'm afraid they will. Yue? Kong Sangyi looked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue nodded and said, I'll try my best. With the two teachers around, the chances of success should be higher. I need to check with the teachers first. Yes. Sima Yue patted her shoulder and turned to look for Big Wei and Little Wei. Shimin Feng said, Don't worry, nothing will happen to the disciples of the valley. She didn't say no directly, which means she still has some confidence. I believe her too. Sima Yue came to De Wei and the others and bowed to them. Yue, do you see anything? Big Wei asked. When I was in the sky just now, I observed the terrain here. This place looks like an ordinary basin swamp, but if you look at it together with the mountain range in the distance, this place has excellent feng shui. Unfortunately, too much time has passed and the feng shui here has changed. Sima Yue said. What kind of terrain is this? How did it change? A teacher asked. Looking at the entire mountain range, the horizontal and vertical direction, it looks like a soaring dragon. And this basin is like the dragon's pearl. Sima Yue explained, the Dragon Ball is the source of the giant dragon's power, so it is the best place to bury the tomb. Unfortunately, this place used to be scorching hot and dry. Because too much time had passed, this place had become a swamp. When fire turns to water, the feng shui will naturally change. Is the water Dragon Ball not good? The teacher asked. Of course not. Sima Yue pointed at the mountain range in the distance and said, because that's a fire dragon. The fire spirit pearl has turned into a water spirit pearl. Do you think this place is good? Although the teacher didn't know much about feng shui, he knew that fire and water were incompatible. Then how do you know it's a fire dragon? Su Xiaoxiao asked. It's too profound to explain. I'll tell you when I have time, Sima Yue said. This place of great fortune has become a place of great calamity. Naturally, some things that shouldn't exist will grow. Is what she said true? Fan Lei looked at De Wei and asked. De Wei looked at Sima Yue with satisfaction. This brat was really out of his expectations. Her knowledge was indeed extraordinary. And seeing that she was so familiar with feng shui, he guessed that she wasn't just an array master. Among all the major professions, seeker spirit masters were the most knowledgeable about feng shui. Thinking of this, he looked at Sima Yue with a deeper gaze. Then what do we do now? Fan Lei asked. We still have to take a look. De Wei said. Big brother, there should be a drainage array here. Little Wei said, but we don't know who tampered with it. So you're saying that someone purposely created such a place of great calamity? Han Miao Shuang asked. It's only possible. De Wei said. No matter if there's really something below, this place isn't suitable for a tomb. Little Wei said, Big brother, let's find the drainage array first. The two of them flew into the air to observe and deduce. The others could only wait below. Little junior brother, why aren't you coming along? To find an array in such a big place, I don't have enough experience. Sima Yue said. Aren't you very good at arrays? Han Miao Shuang asked. Senior sister, I'm just more familiar with some arrays. But I'm only good at small-scale arrays. For a large-scale array like this, I can't deduce it. Sima Yue said, if this array is only a few hundred meters, I can do it. Is this a specialization? Han Miao Shuang said, just like us alchemists, we have our own specialties. Something like that. They waited for half a day, but De Wei and Little Wei were still frowning. It seemed like there wasn't any progress. Yue, come over for a while. De Wei waved at Sima Yue. Sima Yue walked over. Yue, come and take a look. What's wrong with this array? We can't deduce it together. De Wei said, come and see where the problem is? This array is really old. It looks quite old. Sima Yue squatted down and fiddled with the array stones that they had deduced. The three of them discussed. Little junior brother looks so handsome when he's serious. Han Miao Shuang exclaimed. It was a pity that she was a girl. Otherwise she would have chased her. He's really handsome. Su Xiaoxiao turned his head and said, right, eldest senior brother? Kang Junshul leaned on Su Xiaoxiao's shoulder and fell asleep. It's really? Han Miao Shuang poked him speechlessly. As expected, there was no reaction. Xiaoxiao, come here. She pulled Xiaoxiao away. Kang Junshul, who lost his support, didn't fall to the ground. He maintained his position. When the surrounding teachers and Kong Valley members saw him like this, they all started laughing. Han Miao Shuang touched her forehead and felt that she had done something wrong. She stuffed Xiaoxiao back. Kang Junshul felt something rubbing against him and rubbed against him again. He continued to sleep on Xiaoxiao's body. Sima Yue looked up and saw this scene. She couldn't help but smirk. He was such a sleepy person, but he followed her to this place. And Su Xiaoxiao's patient look, wasn't it because the environment here was too bad? But he still came and stood there. He didn't leave and even grumbled. If this was the parting garden, he would have gone berserk. Her heart felt warm. What if this line was drawn like this? Xiao Wei's words pulled her back to reality. She looked down and saw that Xiao Wei had already changed the array a little. But it was still not right. He was about to change the part back when he was stopped by Sima Yue. Wait a minute. Sima Yue picked up the other two array stones and placed them on the ground. De Wei and Xiao Wei's eyes lit up. Chapter 796. That's it. Little Wei exclaimed as he stared at the array formation on the ground in disbelief. The people on the other side heard his cheers and looked over. Done. Fan Lei and the others flew over. I've already completely deduced this array formation. Now we just need to see what's wrong with it. Little Wei said. Aren't we going into the tomb? What is the use of the array on the surface? Han Miao Shuang asked. Because the formation has lost its effectiveness, this place has become a place of great danger. If this formation is activated, even if it can't expel all the water vapor here, it can weaken the water attribute here. It'll be easier to deal with those things when we go down there, Little Wei explained. Hearing his explanation, the others finally understood. This teleportation formation wasn't complicated, and it wasn't very different from the one they were using now. Big Wei and Little Wei quickly found the source of the problem, and after clarifying the problem, they activated the formation again. Almost at the instant the array was activated, Jing Wen and the others in the mausoleum below immediately felt the pressure outside lessen. The attack power of those strange-looking things was greatly reduced. Let's go down. Big Wei and Little Wei returned to the group and said. Once he heard that they could go down, Kong Sangyi immediately led the Kong Valley people into the swamp. Let's go down as well. After Fan Lei and Kong Valley's people left, he said to the people from the academy. Sima Yue and the rest immediately formed a thin barrier around themselves before jumping down. Plop, plop, the muddy water was split open. Sima Yue felt as if she had passed through several hundred meters of muddy water. After breaking through the thick layer of soil, she flew for a while before seeing a huge mausoleum. There was a huge barrier above the mausoleum, enveloping the entire mausoleum. Perhaps it was because too much time had passed, but the barrier could only block the sand outside and not people. Yu and the girls passed through it with a light push. They landed on the empty ground in front of the mausoleum. The entire place was built like a courtyard. The mausoleum here looks really ancient, similar to what I read in ancient books. It seems that it has indeed been a long time. The scenery here is similar to what Su Yuan said. They should have entered from here. Han Miao Shuang said. There are powerful creatures here. Kang Junshul finally woke up and opened his eyes beside Su Xiaoxiao. He didn't wake up when Su Xiaoxiao brought him down. She didn't expect him to wake up as soon as they arrived here. There is indeed a very powerful aura. Han Miao Shuang also said, it seems like from the moment we arrived here, we've been targeted by someone. It gives me a creepy feeling. On the other hand, Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the barrier above her, saying, it seems like the moment we entered this barrier, we entered a huge formation. There's an array here? However, we don't feel the power of the array. A disciple from the Kong Valley said. Because this formation is not activated. Sima Yue said, or rather, the person who destroyed the array outside back then came here to do this. There is indeed an array formation here. This array formation can prevent people from coming in from the outside. It can also trap the things inside from coming out. De Wei said, it should be that person back then who knew that something would appear after this place became a place of great danger, so he destroyed the array here. Little Wei guessed. I don't know who did this. However, no matter who it is, they don't have good intentions. Han Miao Shuang stretched out her hands and rubbed her arms as she said. However, everyone proposes but God disposes. I didn't expect that before their plan succeeded, it would be broken by someone. Kong Sangyi said. I think this isn't something a small force can do. Sima Yue said, the sea turns into mulberry fields over the years. Even if this place changed from a dry land to a swamp, it doesn't necessarily change the feng shui. To change the feng shui here, even if it doesn't take hundreds of thousands of years, it would at least take tens of thousands of years. An ordinary force might not be able to hold on for so long. Everyone agreed with her opinion. This was definitely not done by an ordinary force, but now they didn't know who did it. Yue, let's go in and take a look. Kong Sangyi was worried that the people inside wouldn't be able to hold on, so he said to Yue and led the Kong Valley people in. Not long after they went in, there were sounds of fighting and fluctuations of spirit energy. Let's go in and take a look. Fan Lei said to the teachers of the sect. Shui Rong and Shu Yuan stayed on top of the swamp and didn't come down, so the people who came in were not weak. After they went in, many ancient-looking creatures attacked them immediately. Not far away, Kong Sangyi and the others were surrounded by those creatures and were fighting with all their might. These creatures look like creatures from ancient times. Why are there so many of them here? A teacher shouted. Kang Junshul and Han Miao Shuang were beside Sima Yue. Both of them controlled the flames and burned the creatures that pounced on them. However, after they burned one, another one would appear and its strength would increase greatly. These creatures are so strange. Han Miao Shuang said with a frown when she saw a spirit beast that looked exactly the same as the one she just killed. Sima Yue was protected in the middle and didn't have to do anything. After hearing Han Miao Shuang's words, she carefully observed those spirit beasts. Their shapes were very similar to what was described in the ancient books in the Spirit Pagoda. Some were from ancient times, some were from ancient times. They were all extinct in the modern era. Why were there so many ancient creatures here? Could it be that they could live for so long? Or could it be that they were like little golden snake and were also trapped in the spirit stone? They preserved their life signs and only came out now? She frowned and thought for a while before she denied her own idea. Without a seeker spirit master to open it, these ancient creatures wouldn't come out so easily. There wouldn't be so many of them. Moreover, even a seeker spirit emperor master wouldn't be able to find so many of them. Since these creatures didn't come out from the spirit stone, they couldn't have lived for so long. Then these were fake? Could it be an illusion array? Little Wei also thought of it and said to Big Wei. Quick, take a look. Old Fan, cover us brothers. Big Wei said to Fan Lei who was beside him. There's no illusion array here. Sima Yue said, not only is there no illusion array here, there aren't any other arrays. You've seen it? I've already checked. There's no movement of an array here. Sima Yue said. Could it be that these things are really ancient creatures? A teacher said. Those old things can't live for so long. Sima Yue said as she condensed lightning attribute spirit energy and struck towards those spirit beasts. Chapter 797. Pa. The power of the lightning she condensed was not very strong, but it still gave everyone present a shock. The spirit beast that was struck by her attack instantly turned into small specks of dust before dissipating into the air. This time, no spirit beast that looked like it came out. Pa. Sima Yue took advantage of the fact that the spirit beasts and humans were still in a daze and struck down 2 more lightning bolts. 2 more spirit beasts were scattered. Those with thunder attribute, use your thunder attribute now. Kong Sangyi shouted. There were still a few people who had thunder properties. Although their power wasn't as pure as Yue's, it was still effective when it hit the spirit beasts. Half of the spirit beasts that surrounded them were killed in a short while. The remaining spirit beasts, after seeing that too many of their companions had died, retreated one after another, as if they were in some kind of organization. Retreated? Those people saw the spirit beasts retreating like a tide, and they still couldn't believe it. Although I don't know why, it's good that you've retreated. When Fan Lei saw that the spirit beasts had retreated, he recalled that the first thunderbolt was struck by Sima Yue. He asked curiously, Yue, how did you know that the thunderbolt had a deterrent effect on them? I guessed, Sima Yue said. How did you guess? Fan Lei asked again. Sima Yue was speechless as she looked at this fellow who wanted to get to the bottom of things, because they are not real spiritual beasts. Not a real spirit beast? When she said that, everyone turned their attention to her and waited for her to explain. These spirit beasts all look like the ones in the ancient books. Some are from the ancient era, and some are from the immemorial era. Sima Yue said, no spirit beast can live for so long, so it's impossible for them to live until now. If they were sealed by the spirit stones and had only recently opened the seal, their strength would not be so weak. Furthermore, there wouldn't be so many spirit stones piled up in a mausoleum. This is neither the ancient mine nor the ruins of an ancient sect. That's why you guessed they were fake. That's right. But you also said that we weren't in the illusion array. Someone asked. Those are not illusions. Sima Yue said, this has nothing to do with the illusion array. Then what are these? Some chi spirits. Sima Yue said. Chi spirit? What is that? This was the first time many people had heard of such a thing, and they found it very strange. They're spirit beasts that are formed from spiritual chi in certain environments. They would take on the appearance of the spirit beasts they were in at that time and possess their skills. It's just that it's not as strong as the real deal. Big Wei said. This mausoleum is isolated by a barrier. The inside is not connected to the outside. Therefore, when the environment here changed, these chi spirits were formed. Little Wei explained. No wonder they are so weak. So that's why. Have these chi spirits always been so weak? No. The more time passed, the stronger they would become. If they are beaten, they will absorb our spirit energy and form an even more powerful chi spirit. Big Wei said. That's right. I just realized that when we kill some, more powerful ones will appear. Han Miao Shuang said. These are so weak. It should be because they haven't been formed for a long time. If we encounter those that have been formed for a long time, it won't be so easy to deal with them. But, if spirit energy is nourishing for the chi spirit, why can lightning attribute do it? Actually, fire can do it too. It's just that normal flames are useless. Unless it's a famous deviant flame. Sima Yue explained, these chi spirits belong to the abnormal category. Lightning attribute has lightning punishment, so it's naturally possible. Ah! A scream came from the depths of the mausoleum, causing everyone's heart to jump. Young miss, it's a brother from the valley. A man beside Kong Sangyi said. Let's go in and take a look. Kong Sangyi could tell that this voice belonged to someone he knew. He brought his men and rushed in. Let's go in and take a look. Fan Lei said. The people from the sect also ran in. They first passed through a long tunnel. Once they exited the tunnel, they couldn't hear anything from the outside. It was as if they entered a silent world. We're in an array today. De Wei didn't panic. He and Little Wei quickly broke the array. They seemed to be in a huge cave. There were tunnels in all directions. They didn't know where to go. Although the array was broken, they still couldn't hear Jingwen and the others. It was just that it wasn't as quiet as before. I heard their voices just now. Why are they gone now? Kong Sangyi said doubtfully. We probably went in the wrong direction when we came in. Little Wei said. There are many arrays here. They're all connected to each other. Maybe we'll end up in different places after entering different arrays. Then what do? We don't even know where they are now. Kong Sangyi said anxiously. Xiangyi, don't panic. Sima Yue said, there are so many arrays here. I think they shouldn't be too far in. They should be near us. We just have to find their way. But it's so dangerous here. How do we find them? Han Miao Shuang grabbed her arm and said, don't run around. It'll be dangerous if you meet with some trap array. This is an ancient tomb. Who knows what's inside? Sima Yue saw the worry in Han Miao Shuang's eyes. She smiled and said, I won't run around. I'll get someone to help us find them. Who are you looking for? Sima Yue called out a few hundred scarlet bees. After giving them some instructions, she got them to fly towards the different tunnels. There were so many scarlet bees in the spirit pagoda. A few hundred of them were nothing to her. Based on this speed, she didn't know if there would be a flood of scarlet bees. Should she get the scarlet queen bee to control the speed of her birth? Scarlet bees. The teachers in the sect recognized the scarlet bees. After the scarlet bees left, They all turned their attention to Sima Yue. Little junior brother, why do you have so many scarlet bees? There were a few hundred of them just now, right? Han Miao Shuang looked at Sima Yue with shining eyes. She was very excited. You have scarlet bees. Do you have scarlet honey? Yes. You do. You didn't even share some with me. Little junior brother, you're too mean. Han Miao Shuang reached out and poked her head. Haven't you eaten it before? Sima Yue grabbed her finger. Every time I barbecue meat I put honey. Are you saying that's scarlet honey? Han Miao Shuang shouted. Yes. I only have scarlet honey. If it's not used, then what is it? I was wondering why the taste of this honey was different from the ones I ate before. Ah. I actually ate so much scarlet honey and I didn't even know. Kang Junshul and Su Xiaoxiao were shocked too. But they wouldn't be as embarrassing as her. Chapter 798. This time even Fan Lei, Big Wei and Little Wei were surprised. This guy actually used scarlet honey to barbecue meat? This was too extravagant. Yue, I only know now that you're so nice. I'm so happy. Han Miao Shuang hugged Sima Yue and jumped happily. She even kissed her on the cheek. Everyone stared at the two of them with their mouths agape. How immoral. Alright, aren't you embarrassed? Sima Yue wiped the saliva off her face. What's there to be embarrassed about? They were all girls. Han Miao Shuang didn't say the last sentence, otherwise this little girl would have smashed her head. Oh right, junior brother, give me a big jar later. I want to refine pills. Sima Yue said helplessly, Okay. I'll give it to you when we get back. Let's get down to business first. Yes. Alright. Han Miao Shuang thought of the big jar of scarlet honey and smiled widely. Everyone else was dumbfounded. A big jar of scarlet honey was given away just like that? This was too generous. I want one too. Su Xiaoxiao saw that Han Miao Shuang already had one. How could he not have one? Yes. One can for each of you. Sima Yue noticed that Kang Junshul was also looking at her. Good. Thank you, junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao was also happy. The eyes of the other teachers turned red. These were 3 jars of scarlet honey. He gave it away just like that. They really wanted to ask, are there any more? They wanted it too. It was a pity that they weren't close so they couldn't ask. But if there was a chance later he could buy some from her. Yue this, Shu. Sima Yue raised a finger and interrupted Kong Sengyi. She seemed to be listening to something. After a while she said to Kong Sengyi, the scarlet bees have found Jing Wen and the others. They said that their situation is a little serious. I don't think they can hold on any longer. We have to hurry over. Then let's go. Hey, wait a minute. Sima Yue held on to Kong Sengyi and said, there are so many arrays here and so many chi spirits. We can't just walk around. Then what should we do? Come with me. Sima Yue glanced at Fan Lei. Seeing him nod, she said to Kong Sengyi, let's go. She entered a passageway first. Kong Sengyi and Shimin Feng quickly followed. Han Miao Shuang and the other 2 senior siblings also entered together. The disciples of the Kong Valley had all entered, but the people of the academy remained where they were. Old Fan, are we going? Big Wei asked. Go. Since all the students of the academy have gone, it's fine for us to stay here. Old Su's 4 disciples have all gone. If we don't go and something happens to them, Old Su will definitely be anxious with us when he comes back. Fan Lei shook his head and led the way into the passageway they went. Old Wei and Little Wei shook their heads helplessly when they thought of how Su Jin would flip out and followed in. Fan Lei, Big Wei and Little Wei all went. The other teachers could only follow. The route they took is very strange. Big Wei followed them for a while and said, they avoided all the places with arrays. It looks like they took a detour, but they actually saved a lot of energy. How did she know about these routes? The teacher behind asked. It should be the scarlet bees that investigated it just now. Are those scarlet bees that powerful? Scarlet bees are the most powerful among the spirit bees. They are experts in hiding their aura and investigating. Little Wei said. There are so many scarlet bees. It's not difficult to investigate all the passageways here. Sima Yue led them for a while. Gradually they could hear the sounds of fighting and screams. The people of the Kong Valley were very anxious. But Yue was walking at a steady pace in front of them. They didn't dare to run to the front. When they came to a 3-way junction, the sounds of fighting came from the left passageway. Sima Yue stopped at the junction and led them to the right. Yue, didn't the sounds come from the left? Kong Sengyi asked. Follow me. It won't be wrong. Sima Yue was focused on the journey. She didn't have the heart to explain to her. Fortunately, Kong Sangyi had absolute trust in her. Hearing her say that, he didn't ask any more questions and continued to follow her. Seeing this, the people of the Kong Valley had no choice but to follow. They originally thought that they would go to the wrong place. They didn't expect to see Jingwen and the others fighting at this passageway. Quickly go and help. Kong Sangyi said to the lightning attribute spirit master. Sima Yue condensed her spirit energy faster. As soon as Kong Sangyi finished speaking, she released her spirit energy. Pa! The lightning struck the spirit beast that attacked Jing Huan. When it dissipated, its claws were less than a centimeter away from Jing Huan's heart. Jing Huan was pressed to the ground by the spirit beast. He could only watch as the sharp claws of the spirit beast approached his heart. I'm done for. When he was faced with death, his mind went blank. Only these 3 words echoed in his mind. What do you mean by recalling your life before death? Is that a lie? However, the expected death didn't come. Instead, he was struck by lightning because of the spirit beast. Hiss. He felt pain all over his body. However, it wasn't to the point where he couldn't move. Seeing another chi spirit swinging his fist and smashing it down, he quickly rolled on the ground and dodged. Fighting a spirit beast in close combat. As a spirit master, you've got guts. A familiar voice came from above. He looked up and saw Sima Yue grabbing the arm of the spirit beast. Yue! He shouted in surprise. Sima Yue condensed a ball of fire and added a little bit of Qi Yan's fire. Starting from the arm, the spirit beast was burned clean. Jing Huan got up from the ground and said gratefully, "Thank you. You saved me again. Remember to reward me later." Sima Yue said with a smile, "Let's hurry up and fight now." That being said, with everyone joining in, those Qi spirits were quickly wiped out, and the remaining few ran away with whooshing sounds. They ran really fast. Sima Yue retracted her spirit Qi and didn't continue chasing. Kong Sangyi and the others didn't continue either. Everyone turned around and asked Jingwen, "How are you guys?" Cough cough. Jingwen's injuries were more serious. He coughed twice and said, "We're fine, but they..." Sima Yue followed his gaze. There were several corpses in the room. Other than 1 or 2 that were relatively intact, the rest were broken limbs. Kong Sangyi looked at the corpses and said, "They're all disciples of the valley. Collect their corpses and bring them back to the valley for burial. Jingwen, you guys eat some pills first." The people of the valley went to collect the corpses. Jingwen and the others took the pills from everyone. "Yue, I didn't think we'd meet again so soon. I heard from Jing Huan that you saved them. Before I could thank you, you saved us again," Jingwen said to Sima Yue. Sima Yue didn't answer him. Instead, she looked at the passageways. "They're here?" Chapter 799. Everyone looked in the direction she was looking at. Soon there was some movement there. Qi spirits are coming. Shimin Feng stood beside Kong Sangyi and said, "What is Qi Ling?" Jing Huan asked. "Why haven't they heard of it before? It's a special kind of creature. I don't have time to explain it to you now." Shimin Feng said, "Listening to the commotion, there are quite a few people coming this time. The Thunder Attribute Spirit Master's spirit energy is almost exhausted. It's better for us to retreat first." "But we can't get out," Big Wei said. "Master Wei, what did you say?" "When we entered here, we entered an array." Big Wei said, "Before we break the array, we can't get out." "Then what should we do?" "What else can we do? We can only go." Han Miao Shuang said. "But when our spiritual energy hits them, it will only replenish their energy. Then there's no other way." Big Wei said, "You guys go ahead and hold on for a while. We'll break the array here." "All right." Sima Yu brought the few lightning attribute spirit masters to the entrance of the tunnel and attacked the Qi spirits that were coming over. The first batch of Qi spirits were all struck to death. However, there were 2 spiritual masters whose thunder attribute spiritual energy had been completely depleted. "It's our turn." The 2 spirit masters quickly retreated, and the other 2 spirit masters stepped forward. They condensed their spirit power and attacked the Qi spirits. This time the 2 of them lasted longer. Even so, they couldn't hold on until Big Wei and Little Wei broke the array formation. At the same time, there were movements coming from the other passageways. "Oh no, there are Qi spirits coming from other channels. What should we do? It's not like we can fight them." "Let me try." Fan Lei waved his hand and a barrier enveloped the entire stone room. "It's useless. Ordinary barriers can only block ordinary creatures, but they can't block things like chi spirits. Big Wei stood up and quickly went to various places in the house. He condensed his spirit energy to draw the array pattern and then placed the last array stone under his feet. When the last array stone was placed, the array formation immediately lit up, blocking all the chi spirits outside. Sima Yoyue's eyes lit up when she saw the Great Wei's formation. The way he set up the array formation was very strange. The array formation was simple, but the effect was very good. He only took a few breaths to finish setting up the array. This speed made her gasp in amazement. This formation can hold them off for a while. You guys should quickly recover your spiritual energy. Once we break through this formation, we'll have a tough battle ahead of us. Big Wei said as he squatted down to continue discussing the formation with Little Wei. But we don't have any lightning-attributed spiritual energy recovery pills right now. We usually don't prepare many of these special pills. Someone said. The wind, thunder, and ice attributes were different from the other basic attributes. Generally, pills that recovered spiritual energy could be used for the 5 basic attributes, but these special attributes were useless. There were very few lightning-attributed pills that could restore spiritual energy, so most people didn't prepare many of them. Sima Yue took out some pills and gave them to those who did not have any. Use mine first. Thank you. After those people ate the pills, they went to the side to recover their spiritual energy. Sima Yue came to Big Wei's side and squatted down to study the array formation with them. Han Miao Shuang took out the dried meat that Yu prepared for her and ate it, while Kang Junshou leaned on Su Xiao Xiao and fell asleep. Kang Sangyi told Jing Wen and the others about the chi spirits. Only then did they know why the more they attacked, the more powerful the spirit beasts were. It turned out that they were not ordinary spirit beasts. Knowing that other than the lightning-attributed people, the rest of them didn't have enough spiritual energy, those people were disheartened. No matter how strong they were now a burden. Sima Yue looked at the sketches that Big Wei and the others drew on the ground and felt that it was familiar. She remembered that in the book that Wu Lingyu gave her, there were some similar ones, but she couldn't remember which one it was at the moment. So she let Little Spirit flip through the pages of the Spirit Pagoda for her. Finally, when she was about to finish flipping through the entire book, she found one that was similar to this formation. It still doesn't work. Big Wei deduced the formation once inside. Without a complete record of the formation, we can't deduce these ancient formations. Then there's no other way? Fan Lei was at the side and said dejectedly when he heard Big Wei's words. Not really. Maybe there's another way. Little Wei looked at Sima Yue and said. Sima Yue was still in a daze and didn't notice Little Wei's gaze on her. I know how to do it. After understanding the formation, she came back to her senses and walked around the room. She pointed at an inconspicuous little bump in the corner and said, "This is the place to break the formation." Here. Big Wei looked at the bump and lowered his head to look at the formation that they deduced. Then he continued to deduce according to the hints. That's right. It's done. Little Wei exclaimed first. As expected, as expected. Big Wei looked at Sima Yue. This sentence had a deeper meaning. This formation is broken? Fan Lei looked at them and asked. That's right, it's broken. Little Wei said. We'll wait for a while before breaking the formation. Big Wei looked at those who were still recovering their spirit energy. The formation that I set up can still hold on for a while. We'll wait for them to recover their spirit energy before breaking the formation. This way we'll have a higher chance of escaping. That's good too. Fan Lei said. Sima Yue looked at the few passages that were filled with spirit beasts and looked at those who were recovering their spirit energy. If they wanted to escape, it would be difficult. The others knew this too. So even if the formation was broken, they didn't look relaxed. She came in front of Su Xiao Xiao and the others and sat down saying, I told you not to come, but you insisted. Look at you now, you're trapped here. Han Miao Shuang finished the last bit of dried meat and took out a handkerchief to wipe her hands, saying, Hey junior brother, let me tell you. Ever since I followed Master, this is the first time I've experienced something so dangerous. It's so exciting. Exciting? Aren't you worried that you won't be able to escape? Sima Yue looked at her speechlessly. What's there to worry about? Han Miao Shuang said, although the situation is dangerous, there's no anxiety or worry in your eyes. If you're not afraid, why should I be? Sima Yue looked at her calm face and was silent for a while before saying, Thank you for your trust. You really trust me more than I trust myself. That's true. Han Miao Shuang looked in her interspatial ring for a while and didn't find anything she wanted to eat, saying, Junior brother, do you still have spirit fruits? Sima Yue took out a spirit fruit and handed it to her. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. She was really a carefree person. But she didn't completely believe that they weren't worried because of her. They definitely had their own methods. Chapter 800. As time passed, De Wei's array became more and more unstable under the attack of the Qi spirits and was on the verge of collapsing. Fortunately, the pills that Sima Yue gave to the spirit masters were very good. During this period of time, almost everyone had recovered their spirit energy. It's about time. De Wei stood up and said to everyone, "Let's follow the plan that we just discussed." Fan Lei said. While they were waiting, Fan Lei and Kong Sangyi discussed their strategy and decided that one side would lead the way while the other would stay behind to deal with the aftermath. "I'll walk at the back," Sima Yue said. The Qi spirits in front would get lesser and lesser while the ones at the back would get more and more. So the people at the back would be under more pressure. "Yue, you should walk in front." Kong Sangyi was worried about Sima Yue and said yes. "Yeah, and with you leading the way we won't walk into dangerous places. De Wei and Little Wei teacher are in front, there shouldn't be a problem." Sima Yue said, "Principal Fan should be more clear about my lightning." Fan Lei knew what Sima Yue meant. Since she could trigger the heavenly tribulation, her lightning was definitely not ordinary lightning. "Alright, then you walk at the back," Fan Lei said. "Then we'll walk at the back too," Kong Junshul said. You guys walk at the back." Fan Lei wanted to say that they would be a burden if they walked at the back, but Kong Junshul shot out a flame and hit him back. Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao also shot out 2 flames. He glanced at the 3 of them and said, "Since you guys have deviant flames, then you guys walk at the back. Remember, if you can't hold on, immediately come to the front. If you guys die, your master will go crazy." "Of course we know that. We're not idiots." Han Miao Shuang kept her flames and clapped her hands. "If that's the case, then the rest of you will lead the way." Fan Lei instructed the others, "The rest of you will be in the middle. Everyone get ready. Teacher Big Wei, take that path." Sima Yue pointed at the leftmost path. De Wei nodded. When the formation he had set up was broken, he immediately attacked the small bump that Yue had found. Attack. The lightning-attributed soul masters immediately charged towards the tunnel that Sima Yue had mentioned. The soul beasts at the front were immediately scattered by the lightning. Go. Those spirit masters chopped as they walked, taking the lead to enter the passage. The rest went in while Sima Yue and the other 3 stayed behind to clean up the mess. "I haven't used Deviant Flame to fight before. Now I can test its power." Han Miao Shuang clasped her hands together and chuckled. "Don't laugh, let's fight." Su Xiao shot out a green flame, burning all the Qi spirits that rushed up. Kong Junshul also casually shot out a flame. The flame took the shape of a lotus and flew towards the Qi spirit that was flying over from another channel. Han Miao Shuang's flame turned into a red whip. With a swing of the long whip, it swept across. Sima Yue hadn't even made a move, but the 3 of them had already dealt with the first wave of enemies. "Let's go." Han Miao Shuang pulled Sima Yue and walked into the passage. Su Xiao followed behind and Kong Junshul brought up the rear. Sima Yue saw the flames that they had summoned and knew that she didn't have to worry. She knew it. How could these guys be so calm? They definitely had a backup plan. But she didn't expect that the 3 of them would have deviant flames. Seeing that the 3 of them didn't reveal anything, it really surprised her. A few soul masters cleared the path in front and Kong Junshul's deviant flame behind them. They quickly walked out. "So we're not far from the exit." Jingwen sighed. "It's not far from here. But there are many arrays here. If we don't avoid them, we'll walk to other places. We might even walk further and further away." Little Wei explained. "Since we're out, let's go out quickly," a teacher said. They didn't understand the situation before coming down. They suffered a little. Now there were only a few lightning attribute soul masters. If the Qi spirits chased after them, it would be very dangerous. At this time, Sima Yue and the other 3 came out. "Let's go back to the land first." Fan Lei saw them come out and said. Everyone condensed a protective layer and flew up. Sima Yue followed behind. After thinking for a while, she threw out a flame before flying up. Kong Junshul and Han Miao Shuang saw what she did and threw a flame back. "Let's go." The 4 of them were the last to go out. The Qi spirits wanted to chase after them but were blocked by the spirit barrier. Before they could fly back, they were engulfed by the flames. Little Birdie turned into a big birdie and flew in from the entrance. It brought along 2 other flames and started to sweep through the tomb. The chi spirits that chased after them were all burned up. Shui Rong and Su Yuan were waiting on the swamp. Seeing that they didn't come out for a long time, the 2 of them were very anxious. Rong, do you think the dean and the others will be okay? Su Yuan's complexion wasn't very good. Although the poison in her body was cured, she didn't fully recover. Probably not. Shui Rong wasn't sure herself. They went down for too long. But the 2 of them didn't have a choice. If something really happened, they could only go back to get help. Pooh dash! The sound of the muddy water splashing attracted their attention. A figure came out of the muddy water. It's the academy's teachers. Su Yuan shouted in surprise. That's great. They're fine. Shui Rong heaved a sigh of relief. If the academy's teachers were fine, then the others should be fine too. Soon the people below came up. Dean. Shui Rong and the others went up. They saw that none of them were seriously injured. Only some of their clothes were torn and stained with blood. There were also some people that they didn't see before. They should be the people they wanted to save this time. Let's go back to the city first. Fan Lei said. Dean, then we don't care about the things below? Will they come out to harm people? A teacher said. Chi spirits can only move around in tombs. They can't come out. De Wei said, and we've already reactivated the array outside. The feng shui here will return to how it was before. When the time comes, the chi spirits will naturally disappear. The teachers were relieved when they heard that. They didn't say anything else. Since they wouldn't come out to harm people, their academy didn't need to care too much. As for whether or not people would go down, it wasn't within their scope of concern. Sima Yue and Kang Junshou looked at the sky. They didn't mention that they set the fire. Let's go back first. I still have some things to ask you. Fan Lei said to Shui Rong and Kang Yi. Kang Sengyi also ordered the Kong Valley's people to return to the city. The group of people sat on their flying beasts and left. Not long after they left, a few people came out of the swamp and looked in the direction they left. They weren't far from Fan Lei, but even he didn't notice anyone hiding in the swamp. Tip. Press the Enter key to return to the book list. Press key to return to the previous page. Press key to return to the next page. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, please remember our address. Download Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, please go to Chapter 801. Those people were wrapped in black clothes, only revealing their eyes. Please search to see the most complete. Every one of them had a ruthless look in their eyes, and their bodies exuded a gloomy aura. It seems like the plan this time has failed. The leader had a long scar at the corner of his eye. Although only a little could be seen, it still made people feel ferocious. I didn't expect those people to be able to escape from that place, someone said from behind. Those people are from the Sky Heaven School. I'm afraid we can't stay here any longer. I didn't complete the mission Master gave me. I'm afraid that this time when I return, speaking of this, these people exuded a strong sense of fear and anger. Let's go down and take a look first. Since we can't protect this place, we have to at least protect those things. We can only bring them back to other places to raise them. They went to the underground tomb, but after entering they did not see what they wanted to see. Where's the chi spirit? Everyone was shocked. The leader took out a whistle and blew it twice, but there was still no movement. The chi spirits are gone? Could they have been killed by those people just now? How is that possible? With so many chi spirits, there weren't many thunder spirit masters among them. Being able to come up from below is already a very rare thing. How could he possibly kill all of the chi spirits? Someone immediately retorted. Indeed, there is none left. The leader squeezed the whistle. If it wasn't a spirit weapon, it would have been crushed by him. So many chi spirits, are they really all killed? How is that possible? There's the smell of deviant flame here. Deviant flames. Deviant flames and lightning are the natural enemies of chi spirits. No wonder, when we go back this time, someone's face instantly turned pale, and his entire body froze on the spot. Buzz buzz buzz. At this moment a faint sound came from inside. Then the sound became louder and louder. It was not far from the cave entrance. What's that sound? F*CK, it's a phantom bug. Let's go. The group hurriedly formed a protective layer and flew up. However, one person did not move from his spot. What are you still doing there? Hurry up and leave. Do you want to be killed by the phantom bug? Who would have thought that the man would take off his veil and smile at them, saying, "You may go. I'm not leaving." What are you doing? If we fail this mission, we will definitely be thrown there when we return. Rather than risking his life in that place, he might as well end his life here. Anyway, if you get bitten by the phantom bug, you won't feel any pain when you die. After the man finished speaking, he turned around and ran into the tomb. Let's go. A trace of hesitation flashed in the eyes of the leader, but he still made a decision in an instant and left with the rest of the people. Although it wouldn't be painful to die like this, they were still willing to gamble on the small chance of survival. What do we do now? Are you going back to report? After leaving the swamp, they were all in low spirits. Ruthlessness flashed through the leader's eyes as he said, "If we go back now, we'll die. Let's go to the next place. This time we have to change the method." When Sima Yue and the rest returned to Jialing City, they first found an inn to stay in. Once they arrived at the inn, Fan Lei called Shui Rong, Su Yuanyuan, Kong Junshil and Sima Yue over. Originally, he called Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiaoxiao over, but one of them was busy looking for food while the other was busy bathing, so they didn't have time. "We're already back, but you're still not letting us sleep, Principal, this isn't right." Kong Junshil leaned lazily on Sima Yue. Fan Lei looked at him and shook his head helplessly, but didn't say anything. "What did Principal call us over for?" Sima Yue asked. "Actually, it's nothing much, I just asked you to come over and listen." Fan Lei said, "Shui Rong, although that tomb isn't particularly hard to find, it's not that easy to find it underground. How did you know about this tomb and send people down?" His voice carried a stern questioning tone, which shocked Shui Rong and Su Yuanyuan. "We heard it from others." Shui Rong said. "Heard it from others? It's such a secretive thing, how did you hear it from others?" Dewey asked. "That day we were carrying out a mission in the mountains. When we passed by a resting area, we heard two people talking about a tomb in the Violet Water Swamp. They said that there were some strange movements recently and that there might be some great opportunity, so everyone said that they should go and take a look." Shui Rong said. "If there really was an opportunity, why would they say it so carelessly and let you hear it?" Sima Yue said. "We thought so too at that time, but they insisted on taking a look. In the end, those who believed went down, while those who didn't believe waited for them up there. But in the end, only Yuanyuan came up." Shui Rong said, "Yuanyuan came up and said that they were all dead and unconscious. Then we went back to the academy." Sima Yue thought for a while and said, "Xiang Yi said that Jing Wen and the others were doing something nearby and came over when they heard that there were movements here. It's all hearsay, then this hearsay is a bit coincidental." Kong Junshil, who was half asleep, suddenly said, "Someone must have purposely leaked the news." Dewey said, "Purposely leaked the news to let those people go in and then provide spiritual energy to those chi spirits to make them stronger?" Shui Rong guessed. "It should be." Fan Lei said. "It's not it should be, it's true that someone is manipulating this." Sima Yue said. "How can you be so sure?" Little Wei asked. "Before I left some bees behind. They sent back news that someone came out of the swamp the moment we left. Listening to them, I'm sure that they were the ones who leaked the news." Sima Yue said, "But those people were very vague and didn't directly say anything useful. At that time, we didn't even notice that there were people in the swamp. These people's abilities can't be underestimated." Fan Lei said solemnly. "They went down for a while and when they came up they said that they wanted to go to other places to continue. I think maybe there are many places like this." Sima Yue added. "They just gave up on that place? They had no choice but to give up. There are no more chi spirits down there. Their efforts were wasted." Sima Yue said. "What about those chi spirits? Before we came up, the senior brothers left some deviant flames. They should have been burned up." Sima Yue said. Kong Junshil narrowed his eyes and looked at her, but didn't say anything. He should find a time to ask her about the deviant flames that she released. "You guys are more thorough. Leaving some deviant flames to destroy the chi spirits. We don't know what kind of power is behind this and where are they going next?" Fan Lei said worriedly. Chapter 802. Didn't you send the scarlet bees there? Did they not hear what they were going to do next? Little Wei asked. Copy URL access. At that time they only said that they were going to the next place, but they didn't say where. Sima Yu said, at that time I ordered the bees to follow them, but their alertness was very high and they discovered the bees. In the end, all the bees were killed by them and the information I received was cut off. If they can hide under the swamp without being discovered by us, it wouldn't be difficult for them to discover your scarlet bees. Fan Lei said, it's just that this way we'll lose track of them. Then things won't be easy after that. Big Wei said, although these chi spirits can't leave the tomb, since those people have the intention to do so, they will naturally have a way to get them out. Right now we can only go back and have the Academy's forces investigate. See if there are any strange movements or if something similar has happened. Fan Lei said. I think now that they've failed this time they'll speed up their next step, Little Wei said. There's no time to lose. Let's go back now. Fan Lei said. Director, can I go back by myself later? Sima Yue said, I have something to tell my friends. Fan Lei glanced at Kang Junshul. Seeing that he did not object, he said, since you want to stay then stay. However, he could not delay the 3 great meetings. I know you have other events to take part in after leaving the billboard. Director, don't worry. I won't delay the competition. Sima Yue said with a smile. Then let's go back first. All right. When Han Miao Shuang came back from looking for food and Su Xiaoxiao finished bathing, he realized that everyone from the academy had left, leaving only Sima Yue and Kang Junshul. Where are the dean and teacher? Su Xiaoxiao dried her hair with spiritual power and asked. Let's go back. Sima Yue said. Then why didn't you call us? Because we are not going back. Sima Yue said with a smile. We're not going back? Then what should we do? Su Xiaoxiao looked at her in confusion. Let's rest for a day and then go to the mausoleum to take a look. You're going back? Of course we have to go back. Sima Yue said, it's an ancient tomb. Don't you want to know what it looks like inside? No matter what it looks like, it's been so long. I don't think there's anything good left. Su Xiaoxiao wasn't interested in the things inside. Han Miao Shuang's eyes lit up as she held her hand and said, you really want to go back? I was thinking that there must be something good in there. How could I not go back? I didn't expect junior brother to have the same thoughts as me. Sima Yue looked at Kang Junshul who had fallen asleep on the bed and said, I'm not the only one who thinks the same way, right? If he didn't think so, he wouldn't have remained silent when she said that she wanted to stay. All right then. Since you all want to go, let's go, Su Xiao said. But if we go like this, is it really okay? Our powers aren't very high. The 3 of you have deviant flames. You can walk sideways in there without a problem. Sima Yue said. What sideways? You're the crab. Han Miao Shuang elbowed her. Aya, since we're going tomorrow, I have to rest well today. You have to call me when you're leaving tomorrow. After she finished speaking, she ran out. I'm going to tidy up my house and then rest. Su Xiaowan also left. Sima Yue turned around and looked at Kang Junshul who was lying on the bed. She knew that she couldn't wake him up now. She shook her head and went out. She didn't go to Kang Junshul's room. Instead, she went to look for Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi. But she didn't find them in their rooms. Young Master Sima, are you looking for young Miss and the others? A disciple from the Kong Valley passed by and saw her knocking on the door. He said, young Miss and Shimin Feng went to young Master Jing's room. They might not be back yet. Oh, thank you. Sima Yue smiled at that person and went downstairs to Jing Wen's room. As expected, she found Shimin Feng there. At this moment, Kong Sangyi, Shimin Feng and the 2 brothers Jing Wen were talking about what happened that day. When they heard Sima Yue knocking on the door, Shimin Feng went to open the door. You're really here. Sima Yue went in and saw that Jing Wen's face was still pale. She said, how's your injury? It's already much better. Jing Wen nodded at her. Why are you here? There's something I need to tell Feng. I also came to ask you something. Sima Yue said. What's the problem? Ask away. I want to know, how did you know about the tomb in the Violet Water Swamp? Sima Yue asked. There must be more than one tomb in the Violet Water Swamp. Why did you choose the one with the Qi spirit? We heard it from others. Jing Wen said, Jing Huan and I came here to settle some matters. Once in a while we heard 2 people talking about it. We thought that if it was true, then it would be a great opportunity. So we went to verify it. At that time, we thought that even if there was any danger we should be able to handle it. But we didn't expect it to be that kind of thing. Can you remember who told you this? Jing Wen shook his head, saying, we were just talking about this. The 2 people who were talking were wearing ordinary clothes and looked very ordinary. But no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't remember what they looked like. You can't remember a single person? Sima Yue asked, a little surprised. Not a single person. Jing Wen said with certainty. In that case, the person who told you this must have used some kind of martial arts to make everyone subconsciously ignore their appearance. Sima Yue said, it was to spread the news without causing any trouble for them. We guessed that too. Kong Sangyi said, why did the people from your school come here after hearing the news? Yes. Just like what you said, they couldn't remember what those people looked like. Sima Yue said. So someone really thought that they were controlling us. Jing Huan said in shock. Yes, after we left, someone came out of the swamp. Sima Yue said. What? The four of them were shocked when they heard the news. Sima Yue told them what the Scarlet Bees had seen. It seems that the person controlling us has a plan for the next step. We have to do something. Jing Huan said. The dean and the others have already left. He said that he would take action when he got back. I think there shouldn't be any problems. But I'm worried that the school will waste their efforts. Chapter 803. A waste of effort? What? Jing Huan asked in surprise. Those people spent so many years to create a place to cultivate chi spirits. Now that we've destroyed it, I'm afraid they'll be more careful in the future. That's true. Kong Sangyi said, but the power of the Sky Heaven School is not to be underestimated. I also believe that the school will investigate. Once those things are released, they will definitely harm the people of the continent. On this point, the school is more upright. They won't just watch this happen. Sima Yue said. You said you were looking for me. What's the matter? Shimin Feng saw that Sima Yue was almost done asking and asked. Sima Yue glanced at the others. Kong Sangyi said, if it's not convenient for us to listen, you can go back to the house and talk. It's nothing. Sima Yue said, I just came to tell you that I plan to go back to the tomb. You want to go back to the tomb? It's so dangerous there. Before Shimin Feng could speak, Jing Huan spoke first. Jing Wen also looked at her disapprovingly. Everyone finally came out. Why do you want to go back? It's too dangerous there. Not to mention the arrays, just the chi spirits alone are hard to deal with. Although you have lightning attribute spiritual energy, it's not enough there. The chi spirits have already been dealt with. Sima Yue said. Dealt with? Oh. Senior brother and the others dealt with it. Sima Yue said. But even so, if you go, it's still very dangerous, right? Kong Sangyi said worriedly. Feng, don't you think so? Feng? Kong Sangyi looked at Shimin Feng in disbelief. She thought he would advise her, but she didn't expect him to go crazy with her. 900 spirit beasts won't be able to change her mind. Why don't I go with her? Shimin Feng said, at least if there's any danger, I can accompany her. Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Don't talk to me like I'm a disobedient child. Aren't you? Shimin Feng asked. Of course not. Sima Yue retorted. That's a tomb from ancient times. There might be some treasures inside. Wouldn't it be a waste of such a good opportunity if we just leave like that? This kind of wasteful thing will be struck by lightning. That's why I know it's useless to persuade you. Shimin Feng knew his sister too well. When are you going? Tomorrow morning. All right. Kong Sangyi pulled Shimin Feng's sleeve and said, you guys really want to go? Then I want to go too. Why are you going? Shimin Feng subconsciously refused. If you want to go, I'll go too. Kong Sangyi said, anyway, I'll go wherever you go. It's too dangerous there. You know it's dangerous, but you still want to go. Kong Sangyi said, I don't care. If you want to go, I want to go too. If you think it's dangerous, then don't go. Sima Yue saw Kong Sangyi looking at her and patted her forehead, saying, I still have some things to discuss with my seniors. You guys can decide whether you want to go or not. I'll go back first. She didn't want to get involved in this couple's matters. Let them decide for themselves. But she felt that Kong Sangyi's clinginess wasn't something that her cute little brother could resist. So when Kong Sangyi appeared in their group on the second day, she wasn't surprised at all. After that, the six of them returned to the violet water swamp. Sima Yue found a scarlet bee's corpse on a plant in the swamp. This is the scarlet bee you left behind 2 days ago? Han Miao Shuang said. That's right. Sima Yue kept the scarlet bee's corpse into the spirit pagoda and said, let's go down. The others nodded. Everyone wrapped themselves in spirit energy and jumped into the swamp again. When they came out of the tomb again, the six of them felt different from the last time. This is the mirage bug's corpse. Sima Yue said as she picked up one of the black corpses on the ground. The mirage bug was transparent when it was alive. I didn't expect it to turn pure black after it died. The difference is quite big. Han Miao Shuang said. We didn't chase after the mirage bug that day. Kong Sangyi said, these were left behind by the people who came after us. It's a pity that they didn't leave any useful information. Su Xiaoxiao said regretfully. If they could find some useful information they might be able to guess who came after them. Not necessarily. Sima Yue smirked and threw away the mirage bug in her hand. If you get it, can you find any useful information from it? There's no useful information here, but there will be soon, she said as she walked inside. After a while she saw a man in black lying on the ground. This person was lying on the ground with a faint smile on his face, as if he saw someone in his dreams. This person came after us? Looking at his clothes he should be. If he's not one of them, why would he be dressed like this? Han Miao Shuang said. It's the same as when Su Yuan was poisoned. Luckily, no other spirit beasts came out after the mirage bug. So although this person is in danger, it's not like he can't be saved. Sima Yue said. Then let's try. Who knows, we might be able to get some information after we treat him. Su Xiaoxiao said. Sima Yue shook her head and said, saving people is a waste of energy. We just need to get the information we want. How will we know if we don't save him? Kong Sangyi asked. Do you know about the soul-absorbing technique? Sima Yue teased her when she saw her expression. Soul-absorbing technique? What's that? Why haven't I heard of it before? Kong Sangyi believed her. It's a spirit technique that can absorb a person's soul. Sima Yue said, I'll suck his soul out in a while and absorb it. Then I'll know what happened to him. Kong Sangyi looked at Sima Yue in shock. You, how did you learn such a disgusting technique? Absorbing a person's soul was too disgusting. Sima Yue pulled a long face and said, how is it disgusting? You'll know if it's disgusting or not when you see it later. Kong Sangyi shook her head. No, I don't want to see it. Sima Yue looked at her and couldn't help but laugh. You'll believe whatever she says. There's no such thing as a soul-absorbing technique. Shimin Feng rubbed Kong Sangyi's head and said affectionately. There's no soul-absorbing technique? Then what's she going to do? Kong Sangyi asked blankly. Sima Yue smiled but didn't say anything. She squatted on the ground and placed one hand on the person's forehead and closed her eyes. Kong Sangyi looked at Sima Yue in confusion. Although she didn't know what she was doing, she knew that she shouldn't be disturbed and suppressed her questions. Tip: press the Enter key to return to the list of books. Press key to return to the previous page. Press key to return to the next page. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, please remember our address. Download Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, please go to. Chapter 804. After a while of silence, Sima Yue finished reading that person's memories. Her body emitted a strong sense of anger. People like you deserve to die. She punched the man in the chest and a raging flame spread from her hand, burning the man to ashes. Then she waved her hand and little birdie returned to her hand. Seeing her flames, Kong Junshul's pupils contracted. This flame? Junior brother, what's wrong? It was the first time Han Miao Shuang saw Sima Yue like this, and she was a little scared. In this person's memories, other than the cruel training he received in an unknown place, everything else was about killing, killing, killing. For some reason that even he didn't know, they could massacre the entire city. And more than once. Sima Yue said. How despicable. Han Miao Shuang heard and was furious. Spirit masters like them wouldn't interfere with normal people's lives. These people who massacred a city for some reason were the most despicable. Then did you get any news about this? Shimin Feng asked. Sima Yue shook her head. Their organization's information management is very strict. This person is the lowest level assassin. He would only carry out a mission every time and wouldn't ask why. He didn't get any news at all. Even when they were together, they didn't see each other's faces. The only useful thing was that his superior had a scar at the corner of his eye. Then you don't know what their next plan is? Su Xiaoxiao asked. I don't know. I thought that after finding this person, there would be some clues, but I didn't expect that there would be nothing. Kong Sangyi said, even the insiders don't know about this. It would be even harder for others to find out. I hope that the academy will find something. Sima Yue calmed herself down, telling herself not to be so angry, or else it wouldn't be good to encounter danger with this kind of emotion. Let's go in. Han Miao Shuang saw that she had calmed down and said, The few of them kept their emotions and walked in. This time they didn't meet any chi spirits. Will there be any unknown creatures here? Kong Sengyi asked beside Shimin Feng. I don't think so. Shimin Feng said, this mausoleum has existed for too long, and there's also a barrier separating it. It's already very rare for chi spirits to appear. Perhaps there was something protecting it in the past, but it wouldn't have survived until now. It's said that ancient creatures are more powerful than the ones we have now. This kind of mausoleum is safer than the ones we have now. Thinking about it, they had been in here for so long, and there were no chi spirits to attack them this time. It was indeed safer than ordinary tombs. Buzz buzz buzz, the sound of fluttering wings came from the front. Judging from the sound, there should be a large wave of animals attacking. The sound was getting closer and closer, but no one saw any spirit beasts appear. The phantom bug is here. Everyone be careful, Kang Junchul reminded. The phantom bug was only the size of a fingernail and looked like a beetle. Its body was transparent and even its organs could not be seen. There were only 2 black dots at the tip of its 2 antennae. Therefore, when a swarm of phantom bugs flew over, what everyone saw was a dense mass of black dots. After hearing the sound, everyone stopped moving forward and condensed their spirit energy to protect their bodies. When those transparent phantom bugs flew over, they attacked together. To deal with these spirit beasts that attacked in groups, everyone chose to use fire attribute spirit techniques. A spirit technique was released and it swept across the area. Piles and piles of phantom bugs were burned, and the ground was densely covered with their corpses. These phantom bugs' carapaces are really hard. Normal flames can't burn them to ashes. Han Miao Shuang sighed as she looked at the corpses. You just have to deal with your phantom bugs. If you're not focused, you might get bitten. Su Xiaoxiao released a ball of flame to destroy all the phantom bugs that rushed towards her. Seeing her sigh, he couldn't help but say, our Xiaoxiao is so good. How could I get bitten, right? Han Miao Shuang said while not forgetting to deal with the phantom bugs. The first wave of phantom bugs was destroyed before they could use their skills. The ones behind were smarter. They didn't rush over immediately but attacked from afar. Unfortunately, distance was not a problem for spirit masters. Even if they were far away, they were still hit by the spirit energy and died in groups. Be careful of the yellow fog they release. Don't breathe it into your body. Sima Yue reminded Shimin Feng and Kong Sengyi. Kong Sengyi happened to be surrounded by a group of phantom bugs that broke through the encirclement. When he saw the yellow fog, he quickly held his breath and didn't breathe it in. Are you bullying me because I don't have fire attribute spirit energy? She took out a bell, inserted spirit energy and shook it lightly. The bell immediately let out a clear and loud sound. The sound waves rippled in all directions. When the phantom bugs heard the sound, they became dizzy and their fighting strength decreased. Han Miao Shuang saw the phantom bug's reaction and couldn't help but praise, what a powerful sound attack. In order to save spirit energy, they changed to using deviant flames. Thousands of phantom bugs were burned to ashes. Shimin Feng also had fire attribute spirit energy, but his flames were weaker than Kang Junchul's. Therefore, many of the phantom worms attacked her. Kong Sengyi saw that there were more phantom bugs surrounding Shimin Feng and ran to his side. He shook his bell at the phantom bugs. With her help, Shimin Feng's pressure was reduced by a lot. It was easy to deal with them. How many phantom bugs are there? There are so many, why didn't they fill up the tomb? Han Miao Shuang was a little annoyed by the waves of phantom bugs and complained. Sima Yue also thought, why were there so many of these guys? She didn't think so before. Actually, what they didn't know was that in the past, the chi spirit was suppressing the phantom bugs, so they didn't dare to run around. But now that the chi spirit was gone, this place became their territory. They kept burning for half an hour until the air was filled with the pungent smell of the phantom bugs being burned. Then they finally stopped. Han Miao Shuang kept the flame and said, after burning for so long, if we only rely on spirit energy, I'm afraid it will be exhausted. These phantom bugs are stupid. They obviously saw their companions die, but they still kept flying over. Kong Sengyi didn't understand the phantom bugs and couldn't understand their suicidal behavior. Humans don't know much about the phantom bugs. The descriptions in the books are just one-sided views of the people who met a few before. Sima Yue said, I think their thinking should be simpler. They want to be with their companions. So when they saw their companions being burned to death, they continued to come over and didn't think of escaping. This is similar to other social creatures. Chapter 805. So many have been burned to death. I don't know if all of them have been burned. Su Xiaoxiao smelled the stench and frowned. It doesn't matter if this is all burned, I think the road ahead won't be peaceful. Sima Yue said, there are more insects in the tomb, I hope there won't be too many here. I don't think so. Those insects also need certain conditions to survive. It was rare that Kang Junshul was not sleepy. When his peach blossom eyes were fully open, they were not as charming as when he was sleepy, but they were still very good looking. There are many tombs in the Violet Water Swamp. Everyone has taken a fancy to the feng shui here. But the central position is the best. Sima Yu said, but because it was the best in the beginning it's the worst now. In the mausoleum there are many of those insects, but here, because of the presence of chi spirits, it is not so easy for other creatures to reproduce. Kang Junshul said, these phantom insects are probably an exception. Senior brother, you sound so sure. Are you very familiar with this? Sima Yue turned to look at Kang Junshul. I don't know much about it, but I know a little about it, Kang Junshul said lightly. Sima Yue looked at him. Why did she feel that he seemed to be saying that he was very familiar with this and that he had gone through many ancient tombs? But would this guy know how to do it? It must be an illusion. Let's continue inside. Kang Junshul seemed to be very confident about the situation inside. With his hands clasped behind his back, he swaggered inside. When Sima Yue saw that he was not worried at all, she chose to believe him and followed him in. They kept walking and soon arrived at the place where they had met Jingwen and the others. Their journey was unimpeded and they did not encounter any danger. We haven't encountered anything after walking for so long. We should be able to confirm that the thing inside is gone. Su Xiao said. Even if there was something in the past, over the long years, it has been completely cleaned up by the Qi spirit. Han Miao Shuang said. If it's that good, then wouldn't we be taking advantage of it? Kang Sengyi said with a smile. I'm afraid there aren't many good things left in this place. Kang Junshul poured a bucket of cold water. Why? The existence of the Qi spirit can not only destroy the creatures here, but also absorb the spiritual energy here. Sima Yue explained to her, if there's anything with spiritual energy here, it should have been sucked dry. But we can't say that there's nothing. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to find something. Kang Sengyi looked at Sima Yue and asked in surprise, you already knew? I know. That's how I know there's no danger here. Sima Yue said, but it was just a guess. I didn't expect this place to be so clean. Since there's nothing good left, why are we still here? Picking up scraps. When Kang Sengyi saw that Kang Junshul and the others had the same expression, he was speechless. It turned out that he was the only one who didn't know. I also don't know. Shimin Feng indifferently said. Kang Sengyi smiled when he heard that. Regardless of whether he really didn't know, she was very happy that he could say that. Let's go. Let's take a look at the situation inside. Sima Yue said. They were still at the periphery of the mausoleum. Normally there wouldn't be anything good here. They still had to walk inside to be able to find something. When they passed by a stone room, Kang Sengyi pointed at a small oil lamp in the corner and said, why did we walk into this room so many times? This small oil lamp, the rooms that we passed by recently all had the same one. Everyone stopped. Han Miao Shuang walked over and picked up the small oil lamp. She threw it to another position and took out a jade bottle and placed it at the side. Let's walk again. They walked again and exited from one of the exits. After passing through a tunnel that was tens of meters long, they entered the next stone room. In the stone room, the small oil lamp and the jade bottle were placed in the same position. Seems like we've entered an illusion array, Sima Yue said. Although it seems like we're moving forward, we've actually been walking in circles in this room. When did we enter the illusion array? Why didn't we feel anything? Su Xiaoxiao wasn't familiar with arrays. This array is more powerful than the current illusion array. Sima Yue said, I have to study it carefully. It was not an ordinary illusion array that could make her not feel anything. If he wanted to break this formation, it would take some time. She didn't know if it was because they trusted her from the bottom of their hearts. Even if they were trapped here, they didn't panic at all. Those who were dozing off continued to doze off, those who were eating continued to eat, those who were chatting continued to chat. Nobody asked her if they could get out. Sima Yue searched the room for a long time but couldn't find any traces of the array. She couldn't even find the array, let alone break it. Little junior brother, you've been thinking for half a day. Do you want something to fill your stomach? Han Miao Shuang looked at Sima Yue's frown and asked. Sima Yue looked up at her and shook her head. You should eat it yourself. After speaking, she lowered her head and started calculating. Han Miao Shuang walked over with food and squatted beside her, saying, Little junior brother, it's been half a day. Do you have any idea? I have some idea, but I'm still looking for the array core. Sima Yue said, as long as we find the array core and destroy it, we can break this illusion array. What's the array core? Han Miao Shuang asked. Sima Yue pointed at the furnishings in the room. It's these few things. There was a small oil lamp, a rusty iron sword, a dusty plate, a wine pot, a few scattered wine cups and some small stones. Then let's just destroy them. It'll save us the trouble. That won't do. Sima Yue quickly stopped her. This illusion array is different from other arrays. There's only one array core, but there are many fake array cores. If we destroy the other fake array cores, we might fall into a deeper layer of the illusory realm. It'll be harder to get out. That's why we have to find the right array core to break this illusion array. Han Miao Shuang pursed her lips and said, so troublesome. It's indeed troublesome. Sima Yue rubbed her forehead and looked at the things in the stone room again. This stone room was empty. Other than those few things, there was nothing else. Those small stones could be eliminated. But that small oil lamp, iron sword, plate, wine flask and wine cup, which one was the real array core? She took all these things in front of her. Looking at them, touching them, she couldn't be sure. I think this person must be someone who knows how to enjoy life. Kang Junshul woke up and said. Sima Yue heard him and her eyes lit up. Chapter 806. She held the small oil lamp in one hand and the rusty iron sword in the other. These are the two array cores? Han Miao Shuang asked. Sima Yue nodded her head and said, eldest senior brother is right. This person is a person who loves to live. He loves to eat and drink. That's why the wine cups and dishes are arranged so neatly. As for the oil lamp and the iron sword, they were much more casual. But what? Kong Sengyi also came over. Most people wouldn't use something they like as the core of a formation. However, I'm afraid this person will do the opposite. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she put down the small oil lamp and the iron sword. She picked up the flagon and slammed it on the stone table. The layout of the stone room immediately changed. The wine jug in the stone room was still there, as if the scene of her breaking it had never happened. The eye of the array is a wine pot. How could it be a wine jug? Yue, how did you think of it? Han Miao Shuang grabbed the wine jug and looked at it. It was exactly the same as the one that Yue smashed. I guessed. Sima Yue said, all right, since the array has been broken, let's continue our journey. I told you with you around this won't be a problem. Han Miao Shuang said confidently. You really believe me? I believe it more than myself. Sima Yue smiled. If Wu Lingyu hadn't given her that array formation book, how could she have understood such a comprehensive array formation? Speaking of which, she hadn't seen him for a long time. That time when she entered the primal chaos world, he rushed back to see her. At that time she found that he was in a hurry. In the past, when she was injured or emotionally unstable, he could sense it and would rush over to find her. But recently when something happened to her, he did not appear, nor did he respond. Based on her understanding of him, he wouldn't disappear for no reason. Even if it wasn't for himself, he would still come to take a look at the contract. Therefore, she was a little worried that something had happened to him. That old fart from the Sage Pavilion had always coveted his body. Could it be that he had already been possessed by that old fart? Every time he was the one who helped him. It seemed that after he went out, it was time for him to inquire about his situation. They continued to walk forward and passed by a few more stone rooms. However, they didn't find anything. After passing through the last stone chamber, they arrived at an underground cliff. The cliff was about 10 meters wide and bottomless. The sound of flowing water could be heard from below. It should be an underground river. There was an iron bridge on the cliff, and on the other side of the bridge was a gate. He didn't know what material the door was made of, but after so many years, it hadn't been eroded by the wind. The central tomb is just up ahead. Kang Junshul stood on the cliff with his hands behind his back as he looked ahead thoughtfully. Kang Junshul, have you robbed a lot of tombs? He actually knew so much about mausoleums. Could it be that your Jiang family changed their profession to tomb robbing? Han Miao Shuang walked to his side and teased. Kang Junshul glanced at her and said, have you heard of an ancient great emperor who used his own strength to chase away foreign invaders? You're talking about the Azure Great Emperor? Han Miao Shuang was surprised that he mentioned that person. However, she still told him what she knew. Rumor has it that the Azure Great Emperor was the last great emperor of the ancient era. His achievements were much higher than the previous great emperors. Although there were other great emperors after him, no one could compare to him. The Azure Great Emperor's life is a mystery. Only a few things have been passed down to the world. However, even with these few things, the future generations can only look up to him. Kang Junchul spoke about this ancient great emperor with respect and admiration in his eyes. Sima Yue heard their conversation and walked over. This was the second great emperor's name she heard after returning to the primordial lands. Emperor Qing Dao, whom he had heard of at the auction, was one of them. This Azure Sea Emperor was another. Why did you suddenly mention the Azure Great Emperor? Han Miao Shuang asked. Do you know? The outer region wasn't like this in the past. It used to be the most suitable place for cultivation. There were many ancient cultures and prosperity that we couldn't imagine. Kang Junchul said, many people used to live here. The outer region was so prosperous? Sima Yue asked curiously. The ancient books in the Spirit Pagoda didn't mention this. This was the first time she heard about it? That was a long time ago. Kang Junchul said, because it was too long ago, not many people know about it now. How did senior brother know? I've seen it in an ancient book. Kang Junchul said. Kang Junchul, do you know something? Han Miao Shuang narrowed her eyes at him. In that ancient book I saw it mention something. Kang Junchul said. What is it? That Azure Great Emperor once had a beloved woman. He was very sad after she died and buried her in a place with good feng shui. That place, from afar, looked like a fire dragon spitting out pearls. Kang Junchul said faintly. It can't be? You're saying that this is the tomb that the great emperor built for his beloved woman? Su Xiaoxiao cried out. Damn, is that true? Han Miao Shuang couldn't help but curse. This news was too shocking. Everyone was shocked to the point that they didn't want to. There's something even more shocking. Kang Junchul said, that book said that although the Azure Great Emperor didn't cultivate, he was very powerful. For that woman, he left behind a trace of his divine sense to accompany her. It's been a long time since a great emperor appeared. If you can really get some pointers from a great emperor, you'll definitely benefit a lot. Kang Sangyi said, maybe the next great emperor will be us. Sima Yue wasn't very interested in the Azure Great Emperor's divine sense. After so many years, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that the sea had turned into mulberry fields. Even if that trace of divine sense was here before, it wouldn't be anymore. She was more interested in the things that were left behind. But then she thought that there were so many chi spirits here. Even if there was something good, it would have become waste now. Sigh. Thinking about this, she couldn't help but sigh. Her sigh poured cold water on the excited crowd. They also thought that even if there was something good, it wouldn't be left behind until now. But even if there isn't anything good, this tomb left behind by the Azure Great Emperor is worth a good look. Han Miao Shuang was more optimistic. She was still smiling and wasn't too disappointed. Then let's continue forward. Kang Sangyi said. Okay. They wanted to fly over the cliff, but found that they couldn't fly here. They could only go over the small bridge. It's such a long bridge. I don't know if it can withstand people. Han Miao Shuang said. We'll know once we try. Kang Junchul wasn't worried at all. He walked over with large strides and finally reached safely. Seeing that he was fine, Han Miao Shuang and the others also walked over. Yi was at the back. She waited for them to reach before stepping on the small bridge. But before she reached the center of the bridge that was still intact suddenly broke. She fell down the cliff with the bridge. Chapter 807. Yue. Junior brother. Seeing her fall, everyone panicked. Shimin Feng almost jumped down, but fortunately Kang Sangyi pulled him back. If you can't fly, it's the same if you go down. Let's see if the flying beast can fly first. I'm fine. Sima Yue's voice could be heard from below. Only then did everyone feel relieved. Pooh, pew, the sound of flapping wings could be heard. It seemed that flying was not allowed here, but the birds could still fly. Sima Yue sat on Chongming's back and slowly came up from the abyss. Then she landed on the opposite side of the cliff. Yue, are you all right? Kang Sangyi asked. I'm fine. I called out Chongming before we reached the bottom. Sima Yue said. It's good that you're fine. That really scared me to death. Han Miao Shuang said, it's a good thing that spirit beasts are allowed to fly here. Otherwise you would have fallen into the dark river. Nothing happened to me when I walked up there. Junior brother, how did you break it with your small body? Su Xiaoxiao asked in confusion. I don't know either. Sima Yu looked at the end of the bridge that had already fallen, saying, this bridge has already fallen. It's probably because you guys just happened to reach its load. I was overweight the moment I went up, so it broke. Is that really the case? Everyone had doubts in their hearts, but they couldn't get an answer. He had no choice but to give up. Let's move on, Kang Junshul said to everyone when he saw that Sima Yue was fine. Everyone's attention returned to the door behind them. This door looks very ordinary. I wonder if it will be as easy to open as other ordinary doors. I'll try, Su Xiao said. Xiao, don't think that you're strong just because you're tall. Han Miao Shuang said, save your strength for later treasure hunting. I'm stronger than you. Su Xiao retorted after being mocked by Han Miao Shuang. I know you're older than me. Han Miao Shuang didn't deny this point, but didn't I know myself and didn't think of opening the door? Su Xiao glared at her sadly and asked, what should we do now? According to my many years of experience in the continent. Han Miao Shuang touched her chin and said, there must be some treasure here. But no matter what, it was not as surprising as the other mausoleums. I think there should be a way to open this door. This door can be preserved for so long, its quality must be very good. Shimin Feng said, so now the best way is to find a way to enter. Xiangyi, why don't you try? Sima Yue said, this shouldn't be too difficult for you, right? Kang Sangyi did not decline and said, I can only promise that I will try my best. It might not work. You guys have always been more knowledgeable about spiritual weapons. I think you're the best at this. Sima Yue said, go ahead. I believe in you. Kang Sangyi felt that her words were familiar. It seemed that they had said the same thing to her before and asked her to study arrays. She didn't think that she would return the same words to her. Although she was depressed, she still went to study the door. As a large force, Kong Valley was the best at refining weapons. This kind of door that had been passed down from ancient times was the most attractive to them. Sima Yue watched as Kong Sangyi touched the door here and there. Her concentrated look was quite charming. Han Miao Shuang came to her side and said, can she handle this? She should be able to. Sima Yue said, I see that Feng trusts her. There shouldn't be any problems. Let's wait and see. She can't, I think we can go in. After speaking, she glanced at Kang Junshul. That guy leaned on Xiao and was about to fall asleep. After about half a day, everyone was about to fall asleep from waiting. Kang Sangyi's voice suddenly rang in everyone's ears. Alright, I know how to open this door. Sima Yue was originally meditating. When she heard her, she opened her eyes. At the same time, everyone else opened their eyes. You found a way? Han Miao Shuang stood up from the ground and said excitedly. Yeah. Kang Xiangyi was very excited. After everyone woke up, she asked Shimin Feng to help and infused spiritual energy into the four corners of the door. Then, she went to the middle and turned the mechanism on the door clockwise and counterclockwise a few times. The spiritual energy in the four corners flowed along the grooves on the door. The turntable in the middle also started to turn on its own, making kacha-kacha sounds. Everyone held their breaths and looked at the door. After the turntable in the middle turned 100 times, the door finally made a crisp sound as if it was unlocked. All right. Kang Sangyi walked over again and asked Shimin Feng to help. The two of them each pushed one side of the door and slowly pushed it open. Sima Yue and the rest looked at the opening with caution. They were prepared to attack if anything rushed out. But in the end there was nothing. Oh, the door was completely opened. They saw a huge stone room behind the door. There were many small stone rooms around. Every stone room was filled with things. Most of them were jewels and jades. There were also many spirit stones and crystals. But they had lost their luster and had become useless stones. Everyone looked at these things regretfully. If there were no spiritual energy to absorb all the spiritual energy here, they would have made a fortune. Any of the things in the room would be a huge fortune. What a pity, what a pity. Han Miao Shuang looked at those things and couldn't help but feel pity. Sima Yue sighed in her heart. If there weren't any spiritual energy, how good would it be? She originally thought that she could pick up some leftovers. But now she was sure that there was nothing left for her to pick up. They probably came here for nothing. Let's go to the inner tomb to take a look. Kang Junshul and Xiao walked one round. After confirming that there was nothing useful, they said to Yu and the rest. Han Miao Shuang was uninterested. She waved her hand and said, there are so many things here that are useless. What's the use of going to the inner tomb? Who knows what else is waiting for us in the inner tomb? Kang Junshul looked at Sima Yue and asked, do you think so too? This tomb can be considered a dead tomb. There are no living creatures and no treasures. Even if we continue walking, we won't get any treasures. Sima Yue said with a shrug. She looked at Kang Junshul and saw that his usually lazy eyes were filled with an unfamiliar passion. She didn't know why, but she felt that this matter was a little strange. But she couldn't pinpoint exactly what was wrong. Chapter 808. Should we go in and take a look? Kang Sengyi looked at Sima Yue and said, since we're already here, I won't be satisfied if we don't take a look inside. That's true. Han Miao Shuang said, even if there's nothing inside, it's fine to see what it looks like. Little junior brother, why don't we go in? Sima Yue frowned. Seeing that everyone wanted to go in, she suppressed her doubts and nodded. Let's go in and take a look. But there are so many rooms, how are we going to get in? Senior brother, do you know how to get in? Su Xiaoxiao asked Kang Junshul. Since he had read the ancient book, he should know how to get in. Kang Junshul looked around the stone room. Every room was the same. There were many things inside, but there was no passageway that extended to the inside. It was as if this was the end of the mausoleum. There's no way out. But there's no coffin either. It said that the Azure Sea Great Emperor personally forged a crystal coffin, but I haven't seen it here either. Crystal coffin. How romantic. But it was probably absorbed by those chi spirits. Han Miao Shuang said regretfully. That crystal coffin is not an ordinary item. It shouldn't have been destroyed by the chi spirit. Kang Junshul said. Then we have to look for it properly. If we can see the people from ancient times, hee. Han Miao Shuang laughed. Little junior brother, do you think the people from our time are better looking or the people from that time are better looking? More or less. After a long period of time in the Great Void Immemorial Era, the ancient people should have finished evolving. Sima Yue said. Humans still need to evolve? Don't you look like this? Kang Sengyi burst into laughter. Of course. Do you think people are like that from the start? Sima Yue said. What did that person look like before? Han Miao Shuang asked curiously. How would I know? Sima Yue stopped talking. Was she going to tell them that the ancestors of mankind were apes? Do apes and humans have similar blood flowing through their veins? It would be strange if they believed him. However, the seemingly weak humans on Earth had discovered this long ago. Let's talk about the current situation. Shimen Feng interrupted their discussion. In the past, he had heard Yue talk about human evolution. At that time, he thought it was unbelievable. They knew that if they wanted to talk about this issue, they would probably have to wait here for the rest of the day. Although Kang Junshul also wanted to listen to the theory of human evolution, now was not the right time. There should be a mechanism here, but it won't be easy to find it. He looked around again but still did not find anything. There are so many things in these rooms. They might be blocking something. Let's clean it up first. Sima Yue said. Every stone room was filled with things. Some of them were still in their original state, while others had already been reduced to powder, forming a thick layer on the ground. With a thought, Sima Yue kept everything into her spirit pagoda. Little Spirit was playing with Ling Long in the space when suddenly a large pile of dust fell down. If it wasn't for his quick reaction, he would have been buried in it. Yu, what are you doing? He jumped up and shouted at her. My mistake, my mistake. Sima Yue said apologetically in her heart. What's wrong with you? Little Spirit felt that something was wrong with her. She shouldn't have made such a low-level mistake. I don't know either. Sima Yue said, ever since I entered this tomb I have always felt weird. It seems like something is wrong, but it also feels weird. Why is it weird? Little Spirit sensed the outside and said, there's nothing weird. The space here is very normal. There really isn't anything. Could it be that I'm thinking too much? Sima Yue said uncertainly, forget it, I can't think of anything even if I think about it. Let me see how to find the inner tomb. Yue, what are you thinking about? Kang Sengyi saw that Sima Yue was in a daze and asked. I'm checking if there are any mechanisms in the room. Sima Yue said casually. Did you see anything? No. Sima Yue shook her head. If it's an array, I might be able to see something. But I'm an amateur when it comes to mechanisms. Everyone doesn't know much about mechanisms. It seems like we're stuck here this time. Han Miao Shuang said. Let me try. Chongming said. Okay. See if there's anything strange here. Sima Yue said. Chongming closed his eyes and started to sense. Han Miao Shuang went to Yue's side and said softly, "Isn't Chongming a spirit beast?" He knows this. He doesn't know either. Then how can he? He doesn't know anything about divination, but he's a space-type spirit beast. He's more sensitive to space. If there's anything different, he can sense it. Sima Yue said. Space-type spirit beasts have this kind of ability? It was everyone's first time hearing about this. They were curious and looked at Chongming with curiosity. Chongming sensed for a while and opened his eyes. He pointed to a stone room on the right and said, "There's a movement behind that." Everyone entered the stone room. Everything here was taken away, not even a stone was left. The entire space was clear at a glance. They carefully checked every inch of the wall, but they didn't find anything. Kang Junchul's eyes flashed with impatience. But it was fleeting and no one noticed. Sima Yue suddenly gasped. "Little junior brother, what happened to you?" Sima Yue retracted her hand and said, "When I touched the wall just now, I got pricked by something and bled on the wall." Kong Sangyi shouted. He looked at the changes in the wall in shock. The originally empty wall slowly turned white, and then all kinds of colors appeared one after another. The blue sky, the green grass, and a small river seemed to be flowing slowly. In the river, 2 lotus leaves floated with the waves, and then a stem leaf slowly appeared. Finally, a 9-petaled lotus flower appeared. And that flower was actually black. The black flower and leaves emitted a cold and arrogant aura. The soft and straight lotus stem was like a young girl's graceful figure. This ink-colored 9-petaled lotus flower grew unbridledly in this world, blooming with its own tranquil splendor. Everyone was stunned by this black lotus flower. That cold and arrogant aura made everyone lose themselves in this small world. But before they could admire it, the black lotus flower split into 2. Then, the 2 halves of the black lotus flower quickly retreated to opposite ends of the wall. At the same time, a long crack appeared in the middle of the wall. The entire wall turned into a double door. Chapter 809. Book title, Chapter, The Real Mausoleum Author. Everyone looked at each other with shock written all over their faces. What kind of situation was this? The door appeared just like that? Yue, just now, it seems like it happened after your blood dripped on it. Kong Sangyi stared at Sima Yue. Does your blood have any special function? What kind of strange functions can it have? Maybe the door needs blood to activate. Sima Yue denied. Since we have found the door, let's go in and take a look. She didn't want them to be entangled in this issue because when she saw that black lotus, she felt a scorching sensation on her back, as if there was a flame burning. However, she subconsciously didn't want anyone to know about this. That's right. Han Miao Shuang said, "We couldn't find the door before, but now that the door is open, let's go in and take a look." Su Xiao and Shimin Feng stepped forward and each of them pushed a door. However, the door that seemed to have been open didn't budge at all. That's weird. Su Xiao said, "Could it be that we're not strong enough? Xiangyi, let's give it a try too." Han Miao Shuang and Kong Sangyi went up and helped one person each. The 4 of them tried to push him, but it was useless. The 4 of them tried several times, but the final result was the same. They retreated and looked at the door speechlessly. That's strange. It's clearly not locked. Why couldn't it be opened? Could it be that this is the same as the door outside with some kind of mechanism? Han Miao Shuang touched her chin. Why don't Xiangyi you try and see if there's any mechanism here? All right. Kong Sangyi changed her approach and began to study the door to see if there was any mechanism. However, after studying for a long time, she still did not find anything special. I can't push it and there's no mechanism. Could it be that this isn't a real door? Su Xiao asked. You really can't push it open? Sima Yue said, Is it because your bodies are weak? Let me try. She walked over and placed her hand on the door. The moment she touched the door, the scorching sensation on her back turned into a cooling sensation, as if it wasn't hot at all. Because she thought that the 4 of them didn't push it, she placed both her hands on the door. Before she exerted any force, the door creaked and opened a gap. A strong white light shone through the gap made her squinted her eyes subconsciously. In that instant, she seemed to see a beautiful woman standing in a white light. However, it was only a momentary trance. When her eyes adjusted to the white light, she opened her eyes again. She was no longer a woman. She pushed the door opened it. As for her, she was stunned when she saw the scenery behind the door. Yue, you are. Kong Xiangyi jumped over. Seeing the scene in front of her, she was stunned. Is it? Could it be that there is a treasure inside? Han Miao Shuang walked over, followed by Shimin Feng and Jiang Junjia. Although they weren't as exaggerated as Yue, they were still shocked. Behind the door was neither a stone room nor a cave. It was a world. There was a sky and a land. There were mountains and rivers. There were flowers and grass. There were even 2 small houses on the mountainside. Yu, a distant and ethereal call seemed to have passed through time and space. It floated to Yue's ears. The call was very soft and faint, but it made her heart tremble. Who was calling her? Was it calling her? She wanted to find the person who was calling her, but she realized that there was no one here. This is really too beautiful. Kong Sengyi came back to his senses. He held his hands in front of his chest and sighed. Han Miao Shuang and the others walked in unconsciously. They wanted to confirm if this was an illusion. This place is really beautiful. But this shouldn't be the real world. Kong Junchul said. That's right. We are obviously underground. It's impossible for us to be in such a beautiful place. Shimin Feng said. Then this should also be an illusion array. To be able to create such an illusion, this person is really powerful. Han Miao Shuang sighed. This isn't an illusion array either. Sima Yue said. Not an illusion array? Could it be the real world? Sima Yue took a deep breath and stepped in. Then she stretched out her hand and said, Can you touch me? Han Miao Shuang stretched out her hand to grab her. She was only a step away from her, but she couldn't grab her. Her hand even brushed past Yue's palm. This is 2 spaces? If I'm not wrong, this should be a small realm. Kong Junchul said, Azure Emperor placed a small realm here. This door is the door to this small realm. Then this door is a part of the tomb. So powerful. Su Xiaoxiao was shocked. This real tomb is actually a small realm. No wonder there weren't many mechanisms and arrays before. It was all a cover. The real purpose is here. Sima Yue sighed. Seeing the small realm, she figured out some of the doubts in her heart. She felt that something was amiss. There were too few mechanisms in the tomb. It didn't seem like a normal tomb. Although there were fewer creatures in the tomb because of the Qi spirit, there were too few mechanisms. However, the doubts in her heart didn't completely disappear. There were still some lingering doubts in her heart. That woman's tomb should be here. Kong Junchul also stepped in and came to Yu's side. Eldest senior brother is very sure that this is the tomb of Azure Emperor's beloved woman? Sima Yue asked. I wasn't 100% sure at first. But when I saw the small realm, I was very sure. Why? Because that book said that Azure Emperor had a few small realms. One of the small realms was placed on that woman. To be able to use a small realm as a tomb and match the location in the legend, isn't this enough to confirm it? Kong Junchul said. Then what about the crystal coffin? Could it be in that house? Han Miao Shuang was more curious about that woman. She wanted to see if there was anything left behind. Let's go to that house and take a look. Kong Sengyi had the same idea as her. The 2 of them hit it off and flew towards the small house together. So impatient. We'll walk over slowly. Can that house run away? Kong Junchul said with a smile. Let's go too. After Shimin Feng and the others entered, the door closed by itself. Sima Yue turned back to look. The door had already disappeared. Only a vast expanse was left behind. How did we get in so easily? She muttered in her heart. Looking at everyone's expression, it seemed like they didn't think of this problem. They were probably stunned by the small realm, the tomb and Azure Emperor's surprise. No one thought of this problem. Ah! Han Miao Shuang and Kong Sengyi's screams suddenly came from the house. Gentlemen's Assembly Hall Reading Network. Chapter 8:10. When everyone heard the cries, their expressions changed and they hurriedly flew over. Xiangyi, senior sister. Han Miao Shuang. When they flew to the front of the house, they didn't hear any movement. Thinking that something had happened to them, they quickly rushed in. Xiangyi, how are you? Are you okay? Shimin Feng rushed in first and saw Kong Sengyi and Han Miao Shuang standing together. Han Miao Shuang was holding a painting in her hand. Han Miao Shuang, since you're all fine, why are you shouting? Kong Junchul said with an ugly expression. Now look at this. It's too horrifying. Han Miao Shuang pointed at the portrait in Kong Sengyi's hand. What is this painting about? Why are you so shocked? This painting. Su Xiaoxiao walked over and exclaimed when she saw the painting. Is it really that scary? Kang Junshul and Shimin Feng also walked over. When they saw the painting, their faces were filled with disbelief. Kang Junshul even turned his head to look at Yue. Then everyone turned to look at her. Sima Yue was shocked by them and said, "Are they really that scary?" Everyone nodded. Then I'd better not watch it. Sima Yue took 2 steps back. She did not want to be tortured. I think you should take a look, Kang Sangyi said. Didn't you guys say it was scary? But you'll regret it if you don't, Kang Sangyi said. Everyone nodded again. Sima Yue was confused by their behavior. In the end, she made up her mind and walked over. Then, she was also stunned. This was a very simple portrait of a woman. Her clothes were not drawn much, but her face was drawn to perfection. And that face was 90% similar to hers. It's a pity that the portrait is of a woman. If it was a man, he would look more like junior brother. Su Xiao said. Sima Yue walked over and Shimin Feng and the others stepped aside. Kang Sangyi passed the portrait to her and said, "Take a look at it yourself. Could it be that little junior brother is an old monster who has lived for tens of millions of years?" Han Miao Shuang teased with a smile. "Why don't you show me how long you've lived?" Sima Yu glared at her. She took the portrait from Kang Xiangyi's hands and studied it carefully. Indeed, he was somewhat similar to himself. Those eyes, those cheeks, that nose bridge, that little mouth, they were exactly the same as her. Why is there a faint fragrance here? She put the painting under her nose and sniffed, asking. There seems to be a faint fragrance. Kang Sangyi said, "There wasn't any fragrance when we came in just now. Right, Miao Shuang?" "I didn't notice." Han Miao Shuang sniffed fiercely. "There seems to be a fragrance, but there are flowers and trees everywhere outside. It shouldn't matter if there's a fragrance, right?" Kang Sangyi nodded. "That's right, don't think about the fragrance. Quickly tell us what you think of this." "I don't have any opinion." Sima Yue shrugged. "The world is so big, there's nothing strange about looking similar. But this is too similar. And your blood opened the door to this little realm? Could there be a connection between these two?" Su Xiaoxiao asked. "What connection could there be? It's just a coincidence." All right, she's a girl, I'm a guy, don't put me together with her," she said with a serious expression. Her serious expression made everyone shut their mouths. Kang Sangyi and the others would have believed her if they didn't already know that she was a girl. The things here are well preserved. It should be the effect of the little realm. Let's see if there's anything else in other places. Kang Junshul said. It's just a little realm, there must be a lot of treasures. Han Miao Shuang said excitedly. But the little realm is so big, it won't be easy to find things here, right? Then let's split up and look. Su Xiaoxiao said. I agree too. Kang Sangyi said. No need. Sima Yue persuaded them. The previous owner of this little realm is no longer here because it was refined, so when its owner died, it degenerated. The size of this place is probably what we see now. Then isn't there nothing? Han Miao Shuang said disappointedly. No, there's a crystal coffin here. Kang Junshul said. What's the use of a coffin? We can't take it out for ourselves. Sima Yue laughed at her words, saying, although the little realm has become smaller, there should still be a lot of things. I'm just saying there's no need to split up, let's just go outside and see what's there. That's true. Then let's go out and look. They went out and walked around and found that there weren't many things here, but there were many precious herbs and they were all very old. We've hit the jackpot, we've hit the jackpot. Han Miao Shuang muttered excitedly as she dug out the herbs. If Master knows about this place, he'll be very happy. Su Xiaoxiao was also very excited. Kang Junshul wasn't as excited as them. Other than digging out some rare herbs, he spent most of his time looking around. Very quickly, they dug out all the herbs, which made Han Miao Shuang and the others sigh more than once. If the little realm hadn't shrunk, how many good things would there be? Let's go back to the house. Kang Junshul said, I think the crystal coffin should be in one of the houses. Let's go back, who knows, there might be some treasures left for us in the house. Kang Sangyi agreed. Those herbs weren't very useful to her, so she dug out less. Seeing that Kang Sangyi and the others got treasures, she wanted to get treasures too. So, the group went back to the house and searched room by room. There's no crystal coffin, it doesn't seem to be here. Or, the crystal coffin is just a legend? After searching one round without any results, they started to doubt the whole thing. Impossible. The crystal coffin is definitely here. Kang Junshul said confidently. Sima Yue let Chongming sense it again, then said to everyone, "There's another room behind here." "There's another room?" Sima Yue came to the side of the wall, touched it with both hands, then pressed hard on one of the pieces, and an underground tunnel appeared on the ground. Once the tunnel opened, a gust of cold air rushed out from the ground. "Let's go down and take a look." Kang Junshul took the lead and jumped down, the others followed suit. The tunnel wasn't long, but the temperature was abnormally cold, causing everyone to shiver. They walked for a while and reached the end. When they arrived at the secret room, they saw the crystal coffin in the middle. "Sure enough, it's really here." Kang Junshul stood beside the crystal coffin, looking excitedly at the thing he was looking for. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.